begins your ascension.
They try to bury me alive.
It's Smite when 5 die! It's a deicide! And the Food Fighters have killed 5!
Nothing can be done to stop Eternal Vanguard!
D5 puts them down for the deicide! And the sewer get flushed away! Food Fighters, they put the diamonds in the bag! The Scepter of Dominion! Everyone freeze! A quadra kill! He's gone! Who's up next on the chopping block? Is it? Yeah! It's a quadra kill!
Hello, one and all, and welcome to the Olympus Smite League Athens division. My name's Moonmellows. I'm joined here by Musi, and the Nova Shark is keeping the prod lights going strong. Musi, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm excited to jump into this game that we have for us today here on OSL. Always a good time to see just how everybody is doing, especially with playoffs either like just on the horizon or about nowish. I think
Playoffs.
Wow.
Reading
This is-
comprehension.
Holy cow. So, the entire season, none of the past matters, right? Now it has all come down to this series of games that we have here in the playoffs and right out the gate. I mean, Djungelskogs and King's Court, these players have been looking really, really strong so far. But the question is, how well can they actually, push through it, right? Maybe King's Court a little bit more than Djungelskogs, as, King's Court have been doing a little bit better overall, but I imagine Djungelskogs has been hard at work in the background trying to make sure that they can kind of keep themselves up and keep themselves strong getting ready for this match.
So for all this point, let's take a look at the standings. Wailing Banshees overall currently at the top of Mount Olympus, but looking to take them down, Boo House, Warriors of Albion. But today we're focusing on the King's Court and the Djungelskogs. There is quite a discrepancy between these two teams, but I'm excited to see that the Skogs can see what they can do to step up to the plate.
Especially now that we're in, this new patch that hit not too long ago, right? It was Tuesday, and full admittance, I've been out perusing with Dilo for the past week, so I'm for a selfish reason excited to see what these Athens players are pulling out of their hats to kind of shake up and show down, because it is all on the line at this point in time. We get a chance to take a look at the rosters here down 2 on the bottom. Some of the big power players that I'm looking at for King's Court, I mean, Dishonored, Valo, Dest. Those are some pretty big names in my eyes. And of course, Tempo and Drunk Diplomat are right behind them. You look over at Djungelskogs, and I'm really looking at Speak No Evil and Tuba. That is a dual lane that looks very, very strong to me. So if I'm Djungelskogs, I feel like I really want to play through them. Speak No Evil especially is a player that is able to be very, very aggressive. I remember his Ares is really strong, but obviously when you're this high up, you have more than that one pony to ride upon. You have an entire flock of horses, horse-eye, if you will. So I'm excited to see what the draft strategy looks like from Djungelskogs here.
Me too as well, and you mentioned Speak No Evil having this very aggressive support pool, but Tempo as well, a player who's ran it down consistently through his tenure here in OSL, and also Prime. I mean, he used to almost exclusively go this like Thor support, which I don't think we're gonna see today, let's be honest, but still, it was that kind of play style that he enjoyed to bring around. One thing that I thought was interesting, Prime yesterday, we didn't see a lot of Echo at all, at least on the broadcast side of things, so I'm wondering if they might try, especially Destin Baronic, an old SBL player, see if they might try and innovate a little bit here in this set.
Really, no Capri. I mean, Twitter's been telling me Capri Mid is like the business. Like, it's the sauce, it's heat. And maybe that's just, what's her name? Is that Feifei? Is that Feifei on Twitter? Hold on. I'm sure if I open my Twitter, I'll see their posts right away. And find it fast enough, but that's who I'm thinking of. That's the propagandizer right there. Shout outs. But as far as like what's still strong, I imagine a lot of the usual suspects are still here.
Mhm.
Shifter Shield is still going to be very popular at the very least for your solo laners. Although it is, as I understand it, the general opinion that everybody can build it still. Maybe not your. Yeah, no, maybe everybody can still build it just because of the stats it gives are pretty strong. Well, the item takes a couple of hits and it looks like it should be solid. I mean, and I saw the changes go through and I was thinking to myself, yeah, okay, that looks pretty good. Maybe it won't be as appetizing for other characters to pick up. But just not the case. Everybody still loves to pick up a shifter shield for themselves at home. This means that Bluestone's really good. Soul Reaver, very buildable by certain mages. So think like Discordia, Morgan Le Fay, Agni are some picks that I'm really looking at here for our, mid laners because it feels like those are the mages that can actually make something happen.
I'm ready for them to run it down, and mid is going to be a big contention here for me in this set between Dest and Baronic, but also the junglers. Valo played in support most recently, so I'm wondering if he's going to. I mean, we know Valo. He runs games. He's been known to do it this time, but up against Eats is going to be an interesting play for him here as well. And also, it brings up to the question of what kind of junglers are good now. I've been seeing tank junglers, and I've also been seeing the usual suspects of I'm going to run you down and take your entire health bar with me.
Well, and it's funny too because I feel like certain levels of play are going to value different things. Like if you're up way on the top, I feel like there's not a big focus on characters like the Aladdin or maybe like the Dodgy or Akali or anything like that. But Susano feels busted. That character does a ridiculous amount of damage. And you're like, oh, well, you could like pick an Ares and lock him down. Who's playing Ares? It's 2026. We're on the cusp of 2027. You think we're locking Ares these days? Oh my gosh. And then I feel like Hunbots is also another really strong god. I feel like has a lot of potential. And then you can flex some other things. If tanks are good, if tanks are very good, where's Achilles? Where's Odin? Right? Where's Gilgamesh? For our junglers, I feel like there's a lot of options to be had. You're either super bursty, you're going to kill a squishy and get out, or you're very brawly and you're going to stay forever. I'm surprised we haven't seen Fenrir jungle in a hot minute. I feel like that character has a lot of potential too. Or even Aspect Fenrir for support could be pretty solid, but that's just, hey, I got a tinfoil hat on and I'm talking all kinds of crazy nonsense. So do with that what you will.
Bans now coming through. Daji, Achilles taken off from the side of the King's Court. Sobek, Jing Chen now away from the Skogs. And those are bans that make sense, right? Sobek, very annoying character. Jing Chen, about as annoying as Sobek is, but double that, right? Even more so, able to run at you and be like incredibly tanky. So everything here makes sense. A lot of tanks just taken off the board. So, hey, tank players, hate to say it, tanks are in a good spot.
Yeah, I mean, anybody that tries to tell you that tanks haven't been in a good spot for months is lying to you, and they're not your friends. So now that we have Sobek and Jing Chen off the board, when it comes to supports that are still looking really good here, I noticed that Horus is still available. I've seen him just absolutely running games. I feel like you could still play the Kerberos if you want a more aggressive option. I know if you have an ADC that can clear lane, Geb looks pretty good, but you can't go like Geb with a little scaling ADC. You Geb with an aggressive early game ADC so that you don't completely give away your lane there. And then I see that the Discordia and the Morgan Le Fay have also made it through because we do have that Agni and the Jormungandr ban. Thor is going to be up as well, and the Aphrodite is going to be woof right away. I mean, this is a character that has really low cooldowns, a very useful team fight ultimate with that Undying Love. She's very, very strong for pick comps. So King's Court just needs to set up a little bit more, for the stun kiss follow-up to just absolutely dog somebody that they find and then build from there.
A very annoying pick overhaul that's kind of been like slipping through occasionally, right? We've been seeing her banned a lot, and now Ullr top pick overall. This was very popular in Prime recently. A lot of people have been running this Ullr. He does a ton of damage and also just kind of owns the lane.
I'm pretty sure it was Vayu that said that Ullr is like one of the best ADCs right now. Just because he can just kill you. Right? Like you hit the axe stun, you have a bunch of damage to follow up, and then because you have an ADC that has an easily applied CC, that means your support can follow up. He can set up himself, he can set up his jungler. So he also is able to build Heartseeker, which is very good because everybody's building a ton of health. right, to go with all of their items, because all the good tank items are the ones that have health plus protections to some degree there. So it makes sense to see the Uller, and Mordred is just a great chase down character and a good lane bully for Djungelskogs.
Kakulin being hovered here. Sasano's locked in. You mentioned that powerhouse. Now he's here. The unbeatable 2 that every carry player has been complaining about for the past 2 weeks. And now Kakulin hover. I do hope it's locked in here, and it is, because I do want to hear you talk about this as a solo laner.
So there, ever since the patch that came through where they buffed just about everything for Kakulin, he has been feeling a lot better. The first like 4 to 5 levels for Kakulin in lane is very, very strong. And now that his AO1 ability has been buffed a little bit, he can actually clear the archers if he has bluestone and shifters. He can clear the archers just by itself, so he can focus on clearing melees. So his laning is a lot better. Into the Mordred, though, it'll be interesting. Both of these characters are known for being very pedal to the metal, aggressive, and run at each other. So I'm kind of curious to see how this goes. I do feel like I'm going to hand it to the Mordred over Kukulin still, just because Mordred has an obscene amount of abilities and an ultimate that comes up incredibly frequently. So I feel like Mordred should still have a leg up. As also, Mordred does a little bit better towards the late game, as opposed to Kukulin, who maybe gets shredded a bit easier than the Mordred because he's not as mobile.
Merlin, Thor locked in here for the Skog, so they have a comp that just wants to burn objectives and also run at you while doing so. But also on the other side, the King's Court select a Chiron and a Ra, so they're not lacking in on the objective damage either.
No, they have objective confirm as well with that, Raw ultimate, but also we talk about the pick comp that this Aphrodite helped set up for the King's Court. We have a lot of setup for this Raw, right? Susano has an ultimate that knocks people up. You've got the unbeatable pull, so the Raw can play off of that. Aphrodite's got the kiss. Even Kukulin, you blink and do your little guy ultimate. It's a massive knock-up. It's a great engage tool for King's Court. There's a lot of flexibility with this comp that I like quite a bit. And the Chiron especially is very, very strong in my eyes. This character does a ton of damage, especially, oddly enough, with the Silver Branch Bow build. When you go extra attack speed, you mark that target, fire off your 2, and then you have the 3 arrow shots that fire off. Well, guess what? Each of those arrow shots is followed by a Silver Branch Bow proc as well. So you end up just completely decimating a squishy just off of 1 auto attack. So there's a ton of damage for the King's Court here. But the Djungelskogs have a crazy team fight as well, Moon. I mean, you talked about the objective burn, yes, because of Merlin, but Mordred, Thor, and Horde, this is a classic dive comp in my eyes. They have so much chase potential with that Pursue the Weak from Mordred, with, the Thor ultimate and the Horus ultimate as well, to be able to just go after a backliner. Aphrodite needs to make sure that they are connected to either their Ra, their Chiron. Maybe they can, E-Kitten duo it up with their Susanoo. But it'll be interesting to see if the King's Court can keep up with the raw aggression that Djungelskogs have. Now, once Djungelskogs is out of gas, if King's Court manages to survive that 3-stage dive, King's Court can absolutely turn it around on the Skogs and completely eliminate them. So this is going to be a big game of cat and mouse. It feels like a lot of give and take between these two teams, making sure that their Djungelskogs doesn't overcommit and that King's Court can actually weather the storm when Djungelskogs decides to full commit to a fight.
It's also kind of scary if you're looking from Dest's perspective, right, on this Raw. Dest is a phenomenal Raw. We've seen Dest move heaven and earth with this Raw, but there's a Thor, there's an Uller, there's a Mordred, there's a Horus. There is so many characters who are just going to run at you from minute 0, and you're just going to be like, help?
Yeah. Please, anybody, save me. Well, the one saving grace for this Raw is that he does deal a ton of damage, especially if we can get Dest to the late game. I'm talking level 20 full build. This Raw ultimate gets to be on something like a 30-second cooldown when you have the World Stone, as well as a Spear of Desolation. If you clip anybody with that thing and get a kill, suddenly it's back up. So just the ability to take a look at somebody and eliminate, almost entirely, if not a great majority of their health bar. I mean, I'm looking at Uller, Merlin, and Thor and thinking, man, you've got to be really careful not to get caught there.
Gotta be careful not to get caught because Raw is gonna be the target of aggression as we make our way into game number 1. My name is Moonmellows. I'm joined here by none other than Musi and Nova Shark being our eyes in the sky. And this is our game 1 of the playoffs, so these teams have a lot to fight for.
Already taking a look at some of the relics here. A lot of Aegis and Shell for Djungelskogs right off the rip. Means that we don't have a lot of CC immunity outside of maybe some ultimates. So Mordred, Thor, that's about it, right? I mean, Horus question mark, but once you're in the Horus ultimate, if you're getting CC'd, you just have other problems happening to you. This does mean that the pick potential, the Aphrodite Kiss, sees a lot of value here because you're able to guarantee that stun off the Kiss. There's no real way to play around that. So maybe a Magi's or a Talisman, a Purification, or if we upgrade our relics, right? So if I'm a tank, I'm going to upgrade the Shell. I'm going to get a Beads, maybe a Blink. No, not for any of these goobers. I'd say Beads for your Mordred, Beads for your Horus, just to make sure that our tanks can keep tanking, keep fighting while we are, playing the video game, as it were. And then when it comes down to this solo lane, which is what I was especially interested in. Oh, well.
Oh, yeah. It's glad we're interested in it because Dishonor just grabs First Blood.
Well.
Wild.
Blink and you miss it, right? I mean, we talked about who is going to have stronger lanes. Kukulin is so strong from, levels 4 to 5. He looks so good. Now, dual lane.
Valo is over here. Beads have been forced on out after a good axe meets his forehead, and Tuba is safe underneath that tier 1 tower for now, but the King's Court answering aggression in tow. Look at Blue is on the other side of the map. Tried to put a little bit of aggression to Dishonored there as well, not able to find much, so instead electing to invade what camps he can.
Taking a look back over at that solo side, it looks like when Little Chef backed after they got soloed, they got that engraved guard. Dishonored's able to back and get that survivor sash. So this means that he's going to actually have a bit more strength to keep boxing with Little Chef. So this Mordred needs to be very, very careful in lane. Dishonored has a lot of kill pressure potential. So if I'm Valo, you can already see him in that solo side. We're going to play through the solo lane and look for rocks.
Dishonored went a little angry earlier here this time, so I'm not sure if that's a good play, but Little Chef under the tower feeling safe about it, and Eats already on the rotation over to here as well. The rocks just spawned up, and that's exactly where the King Court's eyes have turned upon, and Dust has even made the rotation over as well, so it looks like the Skogs have given this up for pretty much free.
Yeah, they can't contest it at all. Death is level 5, and nobody from Skogs is level 5 quite yet. It's going to be a blue invade, which is where my eyes are.
Little bit of aggression here. Valo goes on in as well. Little Chef has to pretty much kiss his blue buff goodbye. 3 members are upon it, and Death secures it and wears it like a trophy. But look at Eats going for a little bit of a counter invade as well, trying to steal away the blue buff, and they are able to do it this time. So at least you don't get it for free, but Valo has spotted you out, pulled you back in, forced the Aegis already. Death on the rotation on over. The damage is good, and the solar beam connects. Eats surviving, and not anymore. Takes them on down, but Baronic is here as well to make sure Valo pays for it with their life.
Man, you see Thor go for that blue buff invade, and you know that he's kind of dead to rights just by virtue of the fact that he's still not level 5 even after clearing that blue. Valo taking a knee there is not ideal, but trading 1 for 1 with your enemy jungler is maybe not the worst thing to happen. Drunk Diplomat is dead. All right.
Oh.
So, you know how we talked about how Ullr's able to set themselves up and they can chain CCs into other CCs? This is the kill lane that I was stressed out about from Djungelskogs. I mean, once you hit that 1 stun, it goes straight into the Horus dash. You're able to find another, bunch of damage off of that. Horus is also going to prot shred too. And Chiron is a mobile character, yes, but their dash is interruptible. And the one thing about Chiron that makes him so strong is that, cleanse that he's able to offer his teammates and himself, but you can't really cleanse that Horus axe. You can't really cleanse the dash as well. So it's just a tough spot for Drunk to be in. He definitely needs to hang back and don't play into the aggression of the Djungelskogs dual lane, unless, of course, you have your Aphrodite attached to you. Now, with the selflessness that Tempo has and with the Undying Love, it does mean that they can keep themselves pretty safe But if Drunk Diplomat's all by themselves, then distance is key because you do not want to be within striking range of either Speak No Evil or Tuba.
It's a scary duo lane for sure, and Tempo is here to try and dissuade a lot of the aggression. But we're just like 6 minutes in, and so far both teams able to keep an even pace with each other. And one thing I do want to ask you about, Musi, is on the desk you mentioned a Silver Branch kind of idea for this Chiron. Drunk is electing to go this like Bluestone and a more typical like Arsenal-styled Chiron. Like, what's up with that?
So, while you can do the Silverbrand shenanigans for a Chiron, the Transcendence Heartseeker combination is still very strong for this character. I mean, that's how you played him in Smite 1, right? You'd go Crusher, Transcendence, maybe a Jotuns. It's a similar idea here for Drunk Diplomat, where you're really leveraging your ability damage more than anything else. I do feel like this means that King's Court objective shred is not that great. You know, maybe with a Barb Carver, Valo can build that. He's actually just finished it up just now. They can take a look at like Gold Furies. You have Raw Beam to secure it. But outside of that, Fire Giants are going to be a little tricky in the future, I feel, because King's Court will be a little more interested in team fighting.
Or on the sky lands on down, misses but force the beads out anyways, and Des takes a ton of damage on the back end side of it, but they live for now under their tier 1 tower. But look at Valo, made a little rotation over to the left hand side. Tuba and Speak No Evil are aware of it. He's been caught on out, has the beads of his own to be able to dash back forward, but he's taking a ton of damage. Undying Love keeps him alive a bit longer, and Typhoon does a huge amount of damage on the back end side of it. Des able to pump damage through, and Drunk secures the kill as well. So the King's Court slowly coming out on top around this Gold Fury.
That is a rotation that you can only make when you know that not Drunk Diplomat, that Tempo is around the corner to keep you safe with that Undying Love. And this is why the Susanoo-Aphrodite combination is just so deadly, right? Because Susanoo wants to get in there, pop their abilities, pause that thought. Left lane looks very dangerous for Drunk.
Drunk has to dash on out. Axe off the mark means he's safe for now. And look at the rest of the King's Court going for these rocks. I mean, so far it feels like a clean sweep from these King's Court, right? They're winning. They're able to hold on to a bunch of the aggression that Tuba and Speak No Evil are able to put on. And, well, Dishonored takes a Pursue the Weak to the face and basically laughs it off.
Yeah, he's not too stressed about it at all. Shifter Shield is online, and he was the guy during that ultimate, so he's just got some extra health to play around with there. Mid lane, though, could be troublesome. Valo takes a lot of poke.
Takes a lot of damage, but he's a Tempo attached to him. But who's attached to Tempo? He falls on down to Tuba's hammers, but Des is here and left all the way alone, taken out, eats, picks up the kill, and the Skogs immediately answer back on the map, and 3 members head over to the Gold Fury.
Now, that Thor wall was doing so much work because it absolutely cut off the option there from Des. He wasn't able to really go with the rest of his team, and the shell was still down from Tempo. This Gold Fury pull was attempted by King's Court, but they drop it pretty immediately once they see that Drunk is here. And I like that, you know, that weariness, right? Because this King's Court composition between a Chiron, between a Ra, you know that they have ultimates that can deal a ton of damage, but from a range that's very hard to interact with, that makes it ideal to snipe and steal away. So that's why you see the Skogs give up that Gold Fury, which is, you know, too bad overall, especially because they needed a little bit more of a push there. It's always about the stuff after the stuff, but maybe they find a game.
Speak No Evil is getting a little aggressed upon here. Tuba finally hits an axe, and Drunk able to be safe enough for now, shell forced, but Des is dead in the mid lane. Baronic burns them to a crisp.
Boomba. So, keeping this Ra in check is going to be huge for Djungelskogs, because part of the win con for the King's Court is scaling to late game with this Ra, with the Susanoo, and dealing a ton of damage. So Djungelskogs want to be forcing fights early and getting these early game victories. Part of what I want to see here then is getting Little Chef out of this lane. How do we get Mordred out of the solo lane and be able to rotate to some bigger fights? Because I feel like this Pursue the Weak is such a big tool to help your team set up some crazy stuff. It's part of your 3-stage dive. But also, you know, Mordred's one of those characters that if he's, you know, even or behind, he can feel kind of, you know, hard to play at times, because if he goes in and he is not absolutely owning, he ends up just kind of getting picked. So I would love to see Thor rotate over to the solo lane, get a kill, or at least, you know, see Mordred proxy a wave and get out of this lane to go fight for gold or something.
Instead, Thor is putting his focus over here on the duo lane. Tempo takes a ton of damage, but still has that Undying Love, so not in too much trouble. Des made the rotation on over as well in case that fight turned into do anything more. And yeah, you're right. Leo made the trip all the way over from solo lane, but still, we don't want to take this Gold Fury just yet, and I don't blame them. The Skogs just have so much damage, but Eats to the sky. Where's he going to land? Off the mark onto Des. Des, though, has a bunch of damage in tow. Eats forced to use that Aegis, and, well, Valo is on top of you, takes a ton of damage, but doesn't fall on down. He is here, but look at Little Chef pursuing the weak, trying to find a target to put into the sky, but Leo is already in the backline doing tons of damage. I mean, the rest of the Skogs, this fight is all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, you saw Dishonored show up, just chill in that bush. Made sure that he had a ton of rage so he could instantly transform. Skogs are sticking around, and I don't like that. King's Court can absolutely turn this around if they wanted to, but it's going to be that full call to retreat and get out of there. And that play that Dishonored makes there to just kind of try your hand at something is what I want to see from Little Chef, just so that we can, you know, get this Mordred out there so he can be aggressive, so he can get to this back line, because you have such crazy good engage, but Djungelskogs are the ones being engaged upon. And when Djungelskogs are getting jumped on with this composition, it is not as strong as being the jumpers. You know, you don't want to be the jumpies, as it were. So now your Djungelskogs, you're just thinking about who you can kill consistently. You've got Des down a couple of times, and maybe that's just the play, right? If you're not going to try to commit to get Mordred out to make some plays on the map or on Gold Fury, if we are also going to commit to trying to scale a little bit more towards the late, let's just make sure that Des has the worst time getting there, and making sure that our Merlin gets to be super mega fed the whole way through. I mean, he's got Bluestone and Soul Reaver already online, Kronos Pendant, so we can deal damage to tanks, and Merlin is a character that is especially able to use these items well because he has so many cooldowns to throw out. I wonder if Baronic is going to do the Morgan Le Fay-esque build where you also go like Shifters and E-Staff, or if we commit more damage, something along the lines of like a Ratatouille, maybe even a World Stone for a Merlin could be good.
Skogs now elect to pick up the Gold Fury, but the King's Court are aware of it. Valo and Tempo on the rotation, spotting things out, but Tempo steps up a little bit too far forward, takes a ton of damage. Undying Love also forced out, Stampede used, but look at Eats in the sky, lands on down, and Tempo is out of there. Baronic tried to follow through, but he takes a ton of damage on the back end side of it. Valo gets walled and stunned and dead. Speak No Evil picks up the kill, and 2 members of the King's Court are staring at a gray screen, and the rest of the Skogs, 5 members strong, healthy, turn towards the Gold Fury.
So Mordred's got a solid flank here. Djungelskogs don't have the confirm to outconfirm a Ra or a Chiron, really. I'd love to see them take a fight.
Dishonored goes on in, but that ultimate was just a little bit wide, and he's taking so much damage on the back end side of it. He transforms, has a shield, and able to dash back to safety, but a dash in turn is Little Chef, forces out the beads onto Des, but Tempo has respawned. He's here doing damage. Dishonored throwing out roots, but in the meantime, the Djungelskogs pick up the Gold Fury. Des lets a Searing Plane fly on through, but Leo can't stay around too much longer. Takes a bit too much damage, has to go back to base. So now the King's Court a little bit on the back foot, and Valo decides that he'd rather stay alive than try and pick a kill.
It was a really good objective fight from Djungelskogs there. A little bit of having your cake and eating it too, because like I said, I would love to see them take a fight. You have the man advantage and this Mordred ultimate, but as King's Court walk up and Djungelskogs try to show that they want to chase after them, it's actually Little Chef that takes the real dive there and forces a bunch of space back, so Dest is not able to go up and maybe to get a steal. Look at this Pyro, very low.
Taking on down low, but it's all on bait because Eats was in the sky the entire time. Dest chicken stood up and got fried for it. Valo now has to dash back on out. Speak No Evil to the sky, straight back to the Pyromancer. Secures that one for the Skogs, and yet another objective falls into their hands. We're 15 minutes into this game, Musi, and the Skogs have a 3K gold lead.
Holy moly. I mean, it's just one solid objective fight after the other there from Djungelskogs. They play that Gold Fury fight pretty much as well as you can, and then they bait Des to walk up to try to go for a cheeky steal. You have the Thor come down while simultaneously cutting off the option. So it's going to be a big gold swing for Djungelskogs, but also the momentum here, because now the Moonlight Queen Naga has spawned as well, and we're all in the area, and we're all strong for it.
Skogs look at this objective. Can they get a third one for their caliber? Leo stepping forward, trying to dissuade
This
them
is
off of it,
sketchy.
and they unleash it back towards them. It's down to about 500 HP, and the Skogs are able to secure it for themselves. But now Leo stepping forward, trying to be the man mountain. He leaves Tempo by himself, and Little Chef falls on down. Valo is trying to get some damage to the back end side of it, but Eats in the sky, lands back on down, has the stun. And what Valo is, Valo no more. Stun back in turn as well. Dest falls. 4 members of the King's Court are dead and buried, and Leo trying his best to run away. The wall is good, but the rest of the team, the Skogs, are here. Speak no evil. It's just a matter of time until Dishonored falls. A delayed deicide, and the Skogs come up big.
Holy cats, dude. I mean, Djungelskogs just went from Gold Fury fight, pop off, go to Pyro, pop off, chase out Dishonored for a minute. Oh, look, Moonlight Queen Naga's up. Let's go take that too. I mean, it's like when Moonlight Queen Naga spawns, just before it spawns and right after it spawns, there are like 4 objectives on the map that you have to get ready for. Gold Fury should be up around then. Pyromancer's going to be up around then. Naga will be up, and then you can see this mid-pad spawning in a few seconds, which I would imagine Skogs is going to kind of give here to King's Court. But I mean, honestly, with the lead that you have, you could stick it. Dest is taking so much here, but it really just goes to show that Skogs have just such good team fight and good sustain too. Speaking of Evil is able to keep people up, and like I said, you get Little Chef out of the solo lane and into the team fight. This Mordred actually gets to do something. He doesn't get bullied out by Kukulin. He gets to fight a backline.
Oh, but Thor, he tried to land on down and meets a ton of resistance. Those Dest, though, gets a wall and gets dead. Baronic picks up the kill, and unfortunately, this Raw is staring at the death screen for the 5th time this game. I mean, you pointed it out, Muzi. This Raw is the game plan, and they've been taking him out every fight.
I mean, and you even said it at Picks and Bans. If you're a Raw and you're looking at this Djungelskogs composition, you're like, gulp? What am I supposed to do about that? Is Val fighting somebody over there? That's crazy. There's just so much chase down. The dive potential from Djungelskogs is crazy, but you have to give your laurels to this Thor, who has had crazy good walls so far.
Speak No Evil is level 14 as opposed to Valo's 13. You're not killing him, buddy. I don't care if you have your E-Kitten following you around. Speak No Evil is a menace on this map and a menace to society, but look at Dishonored. He's up inside the jungle trying to get something started, but 3 members rotate and you're dead again, buddy.
Cullen suffers from the Mordred issue, I feel, but even worse, where if you're behind, you are just constantly cooked. Speak No Evil taking some tower damage. Look, he doesn't even care. In fact, Moon, it's a fire giant pull from the Djungelskogs, and there's nobody from King's Court to really contest it. And if they do try to contest, they're going to end up dying.
Valo and Tempo are stepping forward. A good Undying Love stops us from being CC'd, but Eat secures the Fire Giant for the Djungelskogs, and now the rest of the team, they have it on 5. Speak No Evil in the sky, brings the rest of the team with him. Tempo, what you doing, buddy? Because this is the Skogs jungle.
Oh my goodness, and King's Court will get a Gold Fury as a recompense, I suppose, right? You get a little something, but now Skogs have been able to just put the pedal to the metal to an extreme degree, right? I mean, they have just been non-stop blitz playing this map. If King's Court is able to stop it somehow, if they're able to find a way to stop the bleeding, then maybe they can stabilize out. But look at Dest's build. You have a Spirit Desolation and a Rada Tahuti on a level 13 Ra. Like, it's a little cooked.
Oh, but it does damage. Shut down onto Eat. So 1 member of the Skogs team is looking at a gray screen finally, and Dest has a Aphrodite attached to him, standing inside a Solar Blessings. He's going to heal up slowly, much to, well, Baronic's discretion, but Speak No Evil stepped forward. Dishonored doing a ton of damage, and Tuba is able to find Tempo. Drunk shuts down 1, but can the King's Court keep on holding it on down? Eats, Speak No Evil are dead, but only Leo, Valo, and Drunk Diplomat are the members alive to defend.
Man, that Ra, I'm pretty sure Ra got like 2 levels off that kill on Thor. BT dubs, that was insane. Djungelskogs get a little too, right, you know, we're pedal to the metal, shout outs, that's heat. But as we pursue the week, catching Valo, Oh no.
Vallo is in the sky, lands back on down, and the beats ain't gonna save you there, buddy, because Tuba is unstoppable at this point. This Uller is 7-0-7, and hey, you know what? We got onto them for putting pedal to the metal, and Little Chef said, you know what? I'm just gonna slam my foot through the floor.
I didn't pedal to the metal enough, actually. I should have done it more. I was going to chastise Skogs a little bit because we split ourselves up. The fact that our Thor got picked up by a Ra kind of shows that maybe we should have played together a bit more. We didn't get a bird, even though we were kind of posturing like we wanted to, but tier 2 towers are down. We're still clearing bigger objectives off the map, like that Pyromancer. Are we 2v1ing, or are we winning?
We're trying to 2v1, and Dest is the one who comes out on top in a blinking abyss just to make sure we run away from that Bluestone proc. So, once again, I mean, hey, now we can chastise them a little bit better because Eats is just kind of going on tour and getting punished for it.
Yeah, you can see the Thor ult is down as well, so they probably looked for an engage onto King's Court, weren't able to find it, then stuck around a little bit much because you're like, yeah, I'm huge, I'm big, I don't have to deal with it, you know? But every kill that we give Dest gives them a little bit more to try to get back into the game, and Drunk Diplomat was able to find an assist there too. Now they're finding a stun to the face.
Speak No Evil blinks in and stuns out Drunk Diplomat. The Undying Love can't save you forever, and Tempo is the only member left alive, but 4 Skogs strong, find an Aphrodite, and well, she is out of there. 2 members, that's the duo lane dead for the King's Court, and now the Skogs, 5 members strong, well, they're gonna push it down duo lane.
Yeah, dual lane is going to be the play there. Thor is soloing out Susano.
And spam laughing. Noted.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I mean, you know what? If I solo Vallo, do you think I'd be normal about it? I don't blame him. I'd be taking a screenshot. Wait, where are we going?
Oh, we went straight to the mid lane. We're looking for a burn here this time, but Leo is here to defend his bird, and the Searing Pain clips Tuba, so he has to jump back on out. The defense for the King's Court is looking pretty good, but Dest took up a little bit too far forward, has the beats to make sure he doesn't get knocked up, but Eats is here, lands on down, and Tuba finds himself a dishonored Drunk Diplomat doing his best to have some type of damage on the back end side of this fight. Tempo, Dest, they're all alive to make sure that this bird burn doesn't happen.
Health bars from the Skogs are still a little too low as well, so we can't go straight to fire. It's not up for another 40 seconds anyways. So it's time to back, finish up some builds, and make sure that we're getting ready for the next FG pull. I feel if Skogs is able to get the next FG, they can probably look to end the game off of that. So if you're King's Court, you have to get ready to, not get picked. Tempo, be careful. No way we just got scared off by a singular Aphrodite.
That's just Tempo's aura. He
That's
steps
aura.
forward and goes shoo. I mean, we're looking at this game, right? We're 23 minutes in, and I mean, Nova just showed it. A 10k gold lead, and you're scared of a Tempo Aphrodite. I mean, that's just pure aura at this point.
Yeah, I'd be nervous too. If Aphrodite walked up to me, I'd be like, gulp, hi. Yeah. No, I'm sweating. My palms are sweaty. Checking in on some of these builds here. We did talk a little bit about Chiron build early in the game, and we do see, right, Transcendence, Heartseeker, the Jotun's Revenge, so we are a little bit more of a ability-based Chiron, pulling Gold Fury. Chef's in the area while we split FG. Chef could go silly here.
He's trying to go silly, but Vallo, the rest of the team is trying to secure it. Dest able to do it this time, but Little Chef trying to cook up a team fight this time. He has a full health bar, and now a Fire Giant belt around him. Boronic secures the Fire Giant for the Djungelskogs, and pursuing the weak is Little Chef. Dest immunes it out with a Searing Pain because it's basically on like, what, a 40-second cooldown at this point? So a good play, but the Skogs, they come up with the Fire Giant.
Yeah, just making sure that you keep King's Court uncomfortable. Little Chef buys a ton of space by virtue of being there. Now, Skogs have a very good siege going into this, knowing that Raw ultimate is down, and it won't be up for another 40 or so.
Oh, Dishonored blinks on in, hits 3 men with a knockup, but it doesn't matter because Boronic is on a rampage. Eats is in the sky, landing back on down. The stun is good, but he gets knocked back. Tempo has the Undying Love to keep his team alive, and the Aegis has been forced onto Thor for now. The mid-Phoenix falls, and the Skogs, they're not done with their siege just yet as their eyes turn over to this duo Phoenix.
We don't have any ultimates available for Djungelskogs, but we do still have our Aegises for our squishies, so we can get a little aggressive here if we want to be dead.
Good wall! beats!
good
Oh,
wall.
barely survives out. Dest able to survive, and Eats can't say the same. Puts a searing pain on top of his head, and this Thor got a little too big for his britches, but I do not blame him. All the meanwhile, though, this duo side Phoenix is still alive, taking a ton of damage, and Dest is here and has a beam. Speak No Evil now has to go back on out. Valo trying to get something in the back end side of it, gets heart slashed and stunned, but Speak No Evil, he's back in the fight, bringing the rest of the team with him. Typhoon knocks up 4 people, and the rest of the King's Court have to skedaddle back to the fountain.
Djungelskogs, while they are able to win team fights really hard, their objective plays are a little rough only because they don't really have a lot of sustained damage, so they have to keep playing for picks.
Dishonored once again, blinking in, leaping in, and knocking people up, taking a ton of damage on the back end
He's
side of it,
alive
but
this
this time
time.
he has a tempo attached to him, and he's doing damage on the back end side of it. Aegis has been forced onto Little Chef, but he has tons of dashes to get out, but Searing Pain clips 2 people, and Dest absolutely annihilates. This time Leo, the man mountain, he's angry, and he ain't afraid to run at you this time. Valo teleports on in straight to his death. Tuba puts an arrow in his forehead. He jumps on in. He has a dagger, and he's not afraid. Tempo falls on down for the double kill, and Baronik steals away the triple. Dishonored falls down as well. It's up to Dest and Drunk Diplomat to try and stay alive, but the rest of the team is on the way, and Tuba, he found his triple eventually, and he is now immortal, 11-0, and the Skogs, 4 members strong, march into the base.
Man, it's just going to be Drunk Diplomat and a Dream to defend this Titan if Djungelskogs decide to take that step forward. Speak No is kind of low, though, so they have to kill the Chiron if they want to go for this Titan kill, because they don't have a lot of people that can tank it.
They're waiting to do it. Merlin is here, and the abilities are falling down to it, already down to a K, and well, he got caught on out. Baronic, unstoppable as well. Then both ADCs, 7-0 and 11-0. They might be up, but the game is over and out of there. Tuba puts another kill in his column as the Titan falls on down, and the Skogs convincingly win game number 1.
Man, and in my eyes, Skogs won that game right at the 16-minute mark when we went from Gold Fury to Pyromancer to Moonlight Queen Naga, and then just ran the game from there. I mean, that was such a crazy gold swing. The moment we get Mordred out of that lane and away from Dishonored, suddenly, Little Chef gets to actually play. We were already doing crazy work with this Thor and with this Merlin. I mean, Baronik 7-0. Good lord. And we talked about it right at the beginning of Picks and Bans. I said it. I said, Speak No Evil in Tuba. That is a scary duo lane for anybody to go against. And you gave Speak No and Tuba a couple characters that really suit their playstyles of being able to be just so aggressive. You put Speak No on a character that lets them run at people, and suddenly you've got a horse in your face at every stage of the game, and it's just very, very hard to play into.
Hard to play into, especially when Tuba is firing at all cylinders, and very few missed abilities on an Uller, which is impressive and terrifying to think of. But will the King's Court be able to answer it back and bring us to a game number 3, or will this be a clean, easy sweep for the Skogs? We'll have to find out right after this short break. Hello, one and all, and welcome back to the Olympus Smite League Athens Division, Season 9, by the way. We're in the playoffs. My name's Minmelos. I'm joined here by Musey, and we just came off of a banger game number 1 for the Djungelskogs.
Man, it was very well played from the Djungelskogs. It felt like they had a really good team composition, executed exactly how they wanted to play, right? Once they hit a certain stage, they just kept fighting and fighting and fighting, executing on this 3-stage dive. Just even though you had CC Immune ultimates from King's Court, even though you had Undying Love, even though you had beads, it's not enough, right? I mean, Thor was just able to get so much value from his walls. We got Mordred on a lane. Now he's able to run it down as well. King's Court just got completely overwhelmed around that 14, 15-minute mark, just off that Gold Fury pull fight, and then the dominoes fell from there. King's Court are going to take first pick now, and I'm going to point out a little something down here, Moon. See those grayed out characters, grayed out gods?
Oh, wow.
I'm sure you're wondering, what are they doing?
Why are they
guys?
gray?
What's going on?
Why are they gray?
Why are they gray? Why are you blue? But so OSL in a multi-game set. So this best of 3 set, you can't play the same characters twice in a row. This applies to both teams, right? So the Kukulin, the Susanna, the Horus, those characters will not be available for either team to pick. So we're going to have entirely new, different drafts going forward here. And I imagine we'll see a lot of the same characters banned that we saw last time banned this time. Maybe one thing changes because a lot of teams like to save a ban game 1 so that they can play it in game 2.
Yeah, and so far, you're exactly right. Daji, Achilles taken away from the King's Court, and Jing Chen, Sobek, the Djungelskogs take those guys away. Still don't want to put tempo on these highly aggressive supports of his own. And honestly, I'm not going to lie, the Aphrodite, it's known to be annoying, was kind of quiet that game. Didn't really have a chance to shine, and I guess that's just amounted to how much pressure Speak No Evil was able to put out.
And it's crazy too because Aphrodite is usually one of those characters that completely shuts out the Mordred. And I was thinking to myself, man, maybe Mordred has a tougher time playing this game, but it really was Eats that was putting in so much work, making sure that Undying Love was always on cooldown, right? And Speak No Evil as well. It made it so that Little Chef was almost always able to get some level of value from his ultimate. But granted, that is the past. We're to stay here in the future now. We have Aladdin and Jormungandr banned away. So now I'm thinking to myself, the Agni that was banned last game is open this game. There it is. King's Court are going to play for that as their first pick. Really strong.
A very incredibly scary pick as well. Everyone who's anyone has faced an Agni recently, and you're like, this guy stinks. I hate fighting this guy. He burns your health bar from like half a mile back in the next state over, and you're like, well, what can I do about it? Not a lot, but is a great pick here for Dest.
So you could also try to flex it to Drunk Diplomat and carry, but I agree with you. Dest on an Agni could be very strong here, especially because Agni is one of those characters that is able to use that Bluestone Soul Reaver so well and can chunk through those tanks, which is, again, the combination that a lot of mages have been looking at because of how strong Shifters is and because of how strong tanks in general feel right now in this moment. So now that you have this Agni, I really would like to see just some more CC. If we get an overwhelming amount of CC from the King's Court, Agni already has some pretty easy CC that can land with their Smoke Bomb combo, or even just the smoke in general, pair it with the Flame Wave or that dash. I feel like King's Court can really start to put something together here. Front to back works really well for Agni, I think.
Djungelskogs now lock in Osiris, and I get very happy whenever I see this god. This god is just flashy in the greatest way possible, and when Agni is selected on one side, what's the counterpart? Oh right, Discordia now locked in as well. Pretty good top 2 for the Skogs.
Yeah, I say free-thinking mid laners when it's time to pick a character, right? Oh, I'm going to pick Agni and Discordia. Oh, daring today, aren't we? So Disco is another character that I think is still very, very good right now. I mean, again, Bluestone Soul Reaver, but also the Strife is very, very handy. Punishes players that maybe stay a little bit too close to each other and has very strong CC attached to it. Even if you are only hitting one person, you still get a root, and if you hit multiple people, you get that madness to be able to force your enemies to hit each other. So good stuff. Osiris is a character that could live forever, mitigations-based character, and a tank meta, so you know that his health bar will be super, super hard to bring down.
Hey, ADC players, Tough day to select what characters you want, huh? Hu Yi locked in. A staple at this point. We've seen him so much here. Cerberus locked in as well. That's your duo lane, I assume, for the King's Court. But over on the Skogs, they're experimenting a little bit. I like to see it. Neath and now Atlas locked in.
I do really like this Neath. I feel like Neath aspect with the Silver Branch Bow build is some top tier nonsense, right? Like that is a pick that is able to just shred health bars in the late game. Like that mid to late game is where she really shows up. She gets the Silver Branch Bow online. She's get all her weaves active, and suddenly she just starts shredding, right? Atlas is a pick that I don't see too often in support. I know, like, not a Valve likes to play him in in solo, right? I know NavG likes it there, so I know this character has a lot of bully potential. So I feel like you give it to Speak No Evil, and now you have another pick that is able to just absolutely brawl. So it's another run at you pick for Djungelskogs. I feel like this will mesh well with their Osiris too.
Death awaits.
Hercules Athena selected for the King's Court. Thanatos is going to round out the Skogs draft, but Hercules Athena is a huge question mark for me, and it makes me think of who's going in the jungle. I would say Hu Yi, but who else is going to ADC? I don't know. I might be... Listen, I'm putting my money here. And we're going to see a Hercules aspect apotheosis in the support role. I just want it to happen. That's just
Fair enough. You know what? Hey, it's important to have dreams and desires. I'm right there with you. Although, I wonder if it's Athena jungle.
That's what I'm
I
thinking.
feel like Valo has played Athena jungle before, and it's looked pretty heat. So I feel like we could have another situation like that. I mean, Hercules in solo lane, I feel like Herc is a character that has not been getting enough play. I don't know. I don't see him enough for as strong as I think he should be at this point, because tanks are so good and sustain is so strong. You would imagine Hercules would be a character that fits right in with everybody else there. He has a really solid laning phase once he's able to get out of it. He's got great team fight potential. It's even more CC for the King's Court. And when to talk about CC, Athena, Kerberos, Agni, Hoyi's probably going to go aspect, so not as much CC there, but we have a lot of beads burners from the King's Court. And I like that because it means that each CC that you have threatens to chain into more, which means that Djungelskogs have got to be pretty careful about, when they're going to be using their beads or CC immune ultimates, which they don't really have too much, right? Discordia and Thanatos is about it, but again, Thanatos, if you're popping a Thanatos ultimate to beads away a Kerberos ultimate, I think you have a different problem happening to you, right? Like something else is going on that you need to address. Taking a look at that Djungelskogs composition, this feels a little bit more, maybe a little bit more front to back than their last comp.
Let's see if the King's Court will be able to gather their merry men and tie up the set as we make our way into game number 2. My name's Moon Mellows. I'm joined here by Musi, and our eyes in the sky is none other than Nova Shark. And you called it, Valo on this Athena jungle with the aspect.
So Athena aspect did see some changes recently where shield wall no longer slows, but the second strike grants reach. Well, somebody take a screenshot, send that to the ambassador cord, and we'll that. It's just a little error there. Second star. Oui. But she gets more reach procs, which is really good for her. It's what kind of pushes her forward in terms of the damage that she can deal, especially when she's got that Bombas too. So I feel like we go like Hydras or maybe Polynomicon. I see that axe there, so I'm leaning more towards like a Hydra's situation. You don't even have to build it, honestly. What am I talking about, Moon? We're going to go like Shifters. We're going to go like, I don't know, man. What are tanks
Shifter
building?
shield,
Dwarven
every
plate.
tank item ever.
Go crazy. Yeah. Yawn! Or we could be cool. One-shot somebody with Hydra's Lament, Deathbringer. Hell yeah.
Valo, be cool. Be cool, so
cool,
we don't have to make
Valo.
fun of you.
Yeah, right? Like, let's get real. You know what's interesting to me this go-around, Moon? Blinks for both junglers, actually. Valo and Eats here. Which means that we want to be a little bit more on the aggressive side, but, it is a little bit more dangerous, especially because King's Court have so much CC. I worry especially for the Thanatos, Because if they just get constantly poked, which you can do with an Agni, with an Athena, with a Ho Yi, who isn't going aspect, notably, we can loop around to that. You have to make sure that you don't take damage for a few seconds so that you can actually get your blink off. And then if you get CC'd, you are just a little cooked. Just a little cooked.
Oh, like seeing an early aggression here. Taunt brings
Oh,
Eats
look.
back on in, and he's gonna fall on down for first blood. A little cooked indeed. The god of fire fries you up, puts you on a sticker, and now Eats falls on down. Dest already off to a better start than game number 1.
I mean, it's taunt into Agni stun. What do you do about that when you don't have beats? Thanatos is one of those characters where your first few levels are very strong. And Thanatos is one of those characters where you're strong at pretty much every level, right? I mean, he's had a bit of an identity shift from Smite 1 to Smite 2, where Smite 1 he was super good early and then not as good late. Now he's just super good early and super good late. Maybe falls off a little bit in the mid game. Tempo, body blocked, he's fine. But hopefully for Dest and for Valo, putting Eats on the back foot there should give King's Court the advantage they need, especially heading towards these rocks that are spawning in a couple of seconds. Valo will have Blink Taunt, and Eats will have a good angle on them.
He's just wrapping around. Valo spots him, though, inside the bush. And, well, you're stuck inside my shield bash. Takes half. Well, both junglers just trade half health each other, right? So a good ability to trade here for both these times. But the rocks are still ever present. And Des is going to be the first mid laner to make the rotation on over. So once again, the King's Court have a little bit of early aggression here. But instead, Des elect to go for a damage.
Ooh.
Forces out the blink, so Eats now a little bit weaker now. So hey, it's better to than get hit and not have to use the blink.
Dude, Eats and Valo blink at the same time. There is a very good blink from Eats to be able to escape that blink taunt that Valo wanted to queue up, and Dest was right around the corner to play off of it. This is a potentially scary moment there for Eats that he was able to avoid, but King's Court will be able to once again have prio over rocks. They had prio over rocks the last game as well, because King's Court likes to play mid laners that kind of get them through that early game a little bit smoother so that you can play for that over there. But Djungelskogs, have been in this situation before. Although their team comp is a little bit different this go around. I feel like we're not as pressured to get Little Chef out of lane. Osiris versus Hercules. I feel like the Osiris is fine here. Like both of these characters, I don't imagine one has a particular leg up over the other one so long as Little Chef doesn't take too many trades. Like Hercules doesn't want an extended trade. He kind of wants to do his abilities and then leave. Whereas Osiris is like, I'm going to hit you with my sickle. And then I'm going to wait a few seconds to hit you with my sickle. Then I'm going to wait a little. Oh, guess what? It's a third sickle. Wow. So I feel like both of these characters are okay with each other. They're not too stressed out. In my mind, it comes down to Valo and this ultimate, especially with the aspect. We're ulting on top of enemies, not allies. So no matter what you do, you are deep in enemy territory.
Eats may have been caught out a little bit here this time. Dest and Valo look at him, but Eats is the one into the sky. Hovering Death lands upon Dest, who takes a ton of damage. Aegis is forced out, as well as the Shell, so the Skogs elect to back on up. No longer do they have this huge lead to play with, so instead electing to do it safely. Tempo steps forwards, tries to steal away, and I believe he does.
Ult,
at
solo
least
side.
one of them. Oh, wait, solo side. Oh, no, he's here, he's there, and able to ult on out. Lord of the Afterlife gets Little Chef back to safety, but Valo is trying to make something happen early.
Oh, that was scary there for Little Chef. I mean, you see the Athena rocket out of that lane, or rather, out of base and straight over towards solo side immediately after getting pressured out by those, oracles. That's where King's Court is going to have an advantage here because they have that global pressure. I mean, you have a semi-global presence with this Thanatos, but you have true global presence with the Athena, who has the Hydra's Lament online right away. Yes. All right. We get some video games in this house. Good stuff. We're not going shifters. We're gonna go Hydras, and we're gonna go. Let's do let's go crazy. Let's go Polynomicon, and let's go Ratatouille. Let's go nuts. Death's
Let's go
Temper?
wild.
No, what is it called? The electric guitar that nobody builds.
Death metal,
dude.
Death metal.
Death metal. Yeah, let's get a death metal in here. This build's gonna be so sick. But already I like seeing Valo not being afraid to just go for an ultimate. Because, like, even though you don't get the kill on top of Little Chef, you do force him back. This will earn some space for Dishonored. So it helps equalize the lane out there.
The Skogs have made a quick rotation over to the Gold Fury. They put down a Gamma Ray Burst in the King's Court. Well, if they weren't aware of it before, they are now. It's already fallen down, though. Can Tempo steal it away? He's just a little bit too slow. Speak No Evil picks up the Gold Fury. And, hey, the Skogs, they lose first blood, but they don't lose the first objective.
Yeah, that'll help swing their gold a bit in their favor. Plus, you know, Gold Fury is one of those things that you look at it, Nethal, drunk, you're fine, right? You have jump. It's down.
Yeah.
He's fine.
Oh, he goes back in? Oh, because Valo's here all the way for the Defender of Olympus, and a lot of damage is put on side. Speak no evil, speak of him no more, because he is out of the map. He tried to get aggressive, but Valo, that Athena aspect makes you take a lot of damage.
Holy cannoli. And like I said, global presence. Any 1v1 you think you have is actually a 2v1 in disguise. I was going to mention before, Gold Fury for Djungelskogs is very strong because that first pip is actually just ridiculous. Getting out of base 50% faster means that you can farm back and get back into the fight maybe a little bit sooner than your opponents would assume to be the case. Hercules on the wraparound.
Dishonor made the rotation over from the solo lane, but he gets pulled back in, so not able to have the impact that he would like, and instead, Little Chef electing to go for these rocks, so making something out of nothing. So a good little play here from the solo laner.
Oh, maybe Dishonor could actually steal these away with... Oh, he'll get one. That's all right.
Yeah, he stole a ton of rocks on the back end side of it, though.
Nice.
Looks good, but Valo... What? There's a fight happening on the left-hand side. Apple inside. Tempo, who takes a ton of damage on the back-end side of it. But the King's Court, once again, being the only team who keeps finding these kills. And Valo is kind of the one to thank for it, being incredibly aggressive. Gamma Ray Burst is going to be thrown on out just to dissuade the King's Court aggression.
Infused Axe. So what are we going next after this Hydra's Lament, I wonder? If we're going like a strength-based Athena build, I wonder if we're going to have something like a Heartseeker or a Transcendence. A little early for a Heartseeker, so maybe a Transcendence from Valo. You go dual scaling? You dual scaling Athena? Is that what we're doing? Like a Book of Thoth Transcendence build? We do have mana attached to our what do you call it? Our Hydra's Lament. That's what I'm thinking about. And then I guess when you go dual scaling, your reach proc does so much damage. Could be an option here. You don't see Athena jungle too often, so it's very fun to speculate about what the potential options here are.
Well, the option this time was just to run at Little Chef. It was used on him, but this Osiris is pretty hard to take out. But look at Eats over on the left-hand side of the jungle. He's blinking on forward, and the damage is good onto Drunk. Able to use the dive bomb away, but we have a hovering death to chase you down. Speak No Evil pulls you back to the rest of the team. You might have an Aegis, but Drunk has a ricochet. The Scythe, though, is going to be enough to pick you up and take you out. The Djungelskogs get their first kill of the game, but Dest is here trying to make sure it doesn't go away for free, but Speak No Evil able to sneak away back to base.
Man. Finally, Djungelskogs get to put themselves on the board. It's that chase potential that they were able to leverage in the last game that kind of comes in clutch this game as well. I feel like part of the success for King's Court so far is the fact that Valo is able to get actually a really solid start for themselves, and Eats is on a pick that requires a bit more... You have to be more involved. You don't get to make passive plays. Thorwall... You leave the wall out, it cuts people off. That lets your teammates play off of that. It's a bit more of a passive play, right? Thanatos, you got to get in there. You got to hit your buttons. You have to be the one to get the kill. You can't really look at your team and be like, all right, I've set up a good scenario here for you. My crazy good mid laner, Baronic, can kind of take it from here. Not the case, right? And when it comes down to these two types of picks, between King's Court and Skogs, I feel like Valo is going to be a bit stronger when it comes to playing the pick that needs you to actually really make something happen all by yourself.
Tuba steps on forward, but he gets stunned on out. Speak No Evil, he's here to try and save him, but the Suns are burning away Tuba's life hold. Snee steps on forward, trying to do some damage back onto Drunk, but Tuba, the ADC, fell on down.
Bomba. And we have a good start here for Drunk Diplomat as well. So King's Court will have, you know, somewhat firm control over everything, but for all the kills that we've been picking here, Moon, not any objectives. right? We haven't actually been able to push any towers. We haven't gone for Gold Fury. And I feel like this plays into something that we talked about last game where King's Court is a team that likes to chill for late game. We like to play to the late. We want to get our items online. We want to chill. We like low event games where not as many things are happening. Whereas Djungelskogs is very much an aggressive team that wants to go from one thing to the next thing. To when you are King's Court in this moment, you just have to be careful not to give an inch. Otherwise, Skogs is going to walk away with a mile. Taking a quick look at some of these builds here. I've noticed Gauntlet at Thebes has been the first pick for a few of these supports. I do like seeing it a lot more because it gives you kind of everything you want, health and prots. I see the Transcendence pick up there for Valo, so I do think it is going to be dual scaling, which is interesting.
Diplomat getting gone upon here. Aegis was forced, and, well, I thought it was going to be more than it was, and of course it is, because Valo is here. Defender of Olympus means Tuba is all but a bygone memory, and again, the King's Court keep finding these picks over here in the duo lane, but Eats is around trying to make them at least answer for it.
Maybe Thana goes in the air here, goes for a gank on top of this Hoi, gets spotted out by the mark.
Oh, and the blink is even better. Drunk Diplomat plays him, but hovering death up, down does damage, and you're straight into the suns. Valo is here on a killing spree to boot. The King's Court pick up a couple kills, and now they are pretty strong here at this moment. They position around the Gold Fury, but Drunk Diplomat has to go back to base, so once again, kills, no objective.
I mean, if you're not actively trying to force something on the map, one of the look at that damage.
Woo! A ton of damage indeed. Baronic, woo, able to backstep a couple bombs, but you're just gonna juke into your death. But no, the double strife death is all and gone. Valo eventually able to kill him. What I thought was just a dead Baronic, he turns it around.
I mean, that could not have gone better. I mean, it could have gone a little bit better if he wins the 1v2, but just trading out with your mid laner, Baronic is actually crazy with it. That's nuts. Good stuff there from the Discordia. Something I was thinking about while we were watching everything go down in the left lane is that every single fight you think you can take, you really just can't, especially in ADC where this lane has been stripped and kind of reduced to most of what you're doing is farming, right? You're not really able to force 1v1s in the same way that you were able to in Smite 1. It just does not pan out as well. And now you get extra punished for trying to make something happen. Like, yeah, Tuba, this Neath with Sunbeam and Dominance, especially with the aspect, can 100% 1v1 this Hoi. Like, she should be able to win that fight pretty consistently. But it's hard to get that going to begin with. And then when you are able to force that 1v1, congratulations, you get Athena ulted. You just get punished. So it forces Djungelskogs to sit in this spot of, I guess we're also going to farm to late. And that just benefits the King's Court, because that's how they want to fight anyways.
Tempo now putting a little bit of aggression over here on the left-hand side. Eats takes, well, half their health bar from a support, by the way, and now just has to go all the way back to base. So the King's Court, once again, feeling pretty strong around this Gold Fury. I'm just curious if they feel confident enough to do it.
This whole Yi build is so interesting to me. Dominance into Demon Blades. We have some early crit, but extra penetration specifically for our auto attacks. So we're really leaning into not yellow numbers, but just big crit damage. I'm kind of curious that we don't go something like a Dev Gaunts if we're going to be focusing on scaling towards late, just because that item gives you so many stats. So we have this give and take of like, yeah, we're playing for late, but we want to make sure that we're still fairly lethal in this early game. Now that Moonlight Queen Naga has spawned, I'll be interested to see how King's Court play this. If I'm King's Court, I definitely want to fight around this. I don't want to give anything to Djungelskogs at all. I saw that the Hoi backed, but we're just TPing back over to left. So this could give prio to Skogs for this objective, and that could be kind of scary here for King's Court.
Two members who stepped up to the plate, Little Chef and SNE, take a couple damage. The rest of the King's Court, though, flying in away, but look at Drunk Diplomat. He's still over in the left-hand side of the map, so the King Court say, you know what, if you're going to do it, it's just going to have to be the four of you, and Nova Shark shows us Tuba already on the way, so the Skogs pick up the Queen Naga, and a fight is about to ensue as the rest of the team members just kind of dilly-dally around.
Hoi over and left. Ultimate's available for Djungelskogs. We're going to Atlas ult this. Is King's Court ever going to fight?
They're going on in. The Stygian Torment knocks up 2 people, and the Skogs secure the Queen Naga. Eats is in the back line, but they have a Leo dashing on in, trying to save Des. Little Chef running them down, taking damage, and Eats a Cerberus. Tempo is off the map. Des has a Wind Sprite to try and run away from Little Chef, and a good taunt. Valo, he's playing a Guardian at the end of the day, able to get his mid laner out, but in the back line, Tuba is able to find Dishonored as well. The King's Court just playing the map a little too passively.
Yeah, I did not like the fact that we did not group up for Moonlight Queen Naga there. And we did end up grouping up, but only with 4 of the 5. Now Djungelskogs get to execute the Moods map block, right? Where we go from Moonlight Queen Naga over to Pyro. Now the mid pad is spawning. We've got great swing here because we just got a ton of gold, so we can go straight to the gold Fury if we wanted to. And King's Court is not going to be here to defend it, and we just used all of our gas trying to fight around that Moonlight Queen Naga. So again, this is giving an inch to the Skogs, and they're going to take a mile here. It's going to come down to tempo to maybe steal this.
Double stun is good, but Tuba has the secure in spades. Eats goes to the sky just to make sure he gets back to his tier 2 sour safely. I'm not sure if the King's Court want to dive too much further, and I mean, you're right. We're 17 and a half minutes into this game. The King's Court are up 7 kills, but look at that gold chart. It has been, for the majority of this game, in favor of the Skogs. They got that first gold Fury. Now they got a second one, a Queen Naga to boot. The objectives are just keep coming up Skogs.
Although I do like this play here from the King's Court, because you know the Djungelskogs just got all of that. They have to back up. So getting that mid T1 will help open the map up a bit here for the King's Court. And hopefully that'll give them some breathing room. So very much needed breathing room. And you talked about that gold chart, that sharp dip down. That's how the Skogs love to play. They're a very swingy team that plays for these moments. So if you're King's Court, yeah, you definitely just took a beating there. You lost quite a bit of pressure. But maybe this is just the game that they want to play, right? I mean, realistically, the gold lead is not as high as maybe you would think it would be after losing, 3 objectives in a row. So King's Court still have their head above the water. They're still able to contest something like a Fire Giant if that's what they want to do, but you do have to draw a line in the sand at some point. I really want to see it soon.
Evil gets gone upon by 2 members of the team, but in the meanwhile, Des is being attacked by Eats. Hovering Death lands up in the sky, but we have an Aegis to immune it, and Eats is all but a bygone memory. Des picks up the kill, and King's Court looking good in this fight, but Tempo falls on down to Tuba, who is able to be picked up by Valo, who is on a rampage. Dash taunt for days to get the kill. Now, Little Chef, the Lord of the Afterlife's on in, but the stuns abound. Make sure that Valo is able to run back to safety. Drunk Diplomat is here, and Dishonored is pushing them to the rest of his team, but he gets picked up by Speak No Evil, and he's doing damage, but I'm not sure if that's where you want to put a Hercules. He's going to put a rock on your forehead. A ton of damage coming in a tow, and Dishonored just playing with his food at this point. You trade your support for 2, but the King's Court, they're still running it down.
Man, and Dishonored on this Hercules, this guy just gets to live forever, and just off of those couple of picks, look at the gold chart. Swings right back over to King's Court, so they can actually take that hit that they took, losing all those objectives, knowing that they're just chilling. They're just waiting for this late game. And Valo especially is trying to scale towards that late game. Book of Thoth. All right. Musi still knows a little bit of ball here. Shout outs. So now we are super scaling, so our Athena will have big abilities because we have a bunch of int because of our Book of Thoth, and big autos from Hydras and Transcendence, plus a Book of Thoth, and a Pyromancer for the Skogs.
Pyromancer is pulled down to about 3k HP unleashed, but Little Chef is into the backline, and Des is the target, but you've been taunted straight into the big ability of damage from the Athena. Valo gets a kill, but Dishonored separated from the rest of his team. Eats picks him up with the execute, but Speak No Evil has been put to the wolves for the rest of the King's Court. Damage is good, and Eats is out of there. Double kill for the Athena. Might as well give them a triple because they are now unstoppable. The King's Court 4 members strong. Now they look at the Fire Giant, but the health bar's pretty low.
Drunk Diplomat has Deathbringer and Demonic. So we do have pretty okay amount of damage to chip away at this Fire Giant. It helps that nobody from Skogs will be here to keep them away. Man, again, there is so much focus put onto this Hercules. I mean, Dishonored is 0-2-0, but the slash line does not tell the story of the work that this Hercules has been putting in. Just a giant look at me type of guy where Skogs commits that execute to the Hercules in order to, you know, take him out and kill them. But then we don't have it for anybody else, so the King's Court are able to, you know, kind of walk in with their damage and get the job done there. And we can see too, we have the E staff there for deaths, so the Agni has a bit of extra survivability, as well as that World Stone and the Blue Stone. I imagine it's going to be a Soul Reaver soon. Tempo.
Wow. I mean, that's scary. Once again, it doesn't matter if he's an Aphrodite or Cerberus. It's just aura on this guy. He steps forward and they go, scatter! Right? I mean, maybe it's a little bit, in combination with the Defender of Olympus from Valo, but I'm just thinking it's pure aura from Tempo.
I mean, that guy's got 3 heads, right? That's if I saw a dog with 3 heads, I would also run away. Like, it's a scary situation. Although this does mean that you are giving up the Gold Fury over there to the King's Court. So it'll be their first Gold Fury while they have this FG. Why don't you even play for it, right? I mean, you have a tier 1 over there in solo side still. Tier 2 towers as well. King's Court aren't going to win off this first push, Moon, but they are going to try to start to swing the gold their way. This is the ideal moment here for the King's Court. Not even swing the gold their way. The gold is swung. We are no longer swing, it's swung. The vowel is
convincing
changed.
swung. It's a 3.5k gold lead for them, and they've doubled the kills of the Skogs at this point. The King's Court saying, you know what, you can run over us in game number 1, but game number 2, that's where we're going to put our flag down and at least step up a little bit. And the King's Court, I mean, it looked good, right? I was worried for a bit when we just started giving up objectives time and time again, but the King's Court show, hey, 23 minutes in, it's our game now.
So now if you're Djungelskogs, you're kind of thinking to yourself, how are you bringing this back? Neath ulting Athena, maybe?
Athena's been caught out by the rest of the team. The stun is going to be good, and an apple to boot as well, taking a third of our HP, but the rest of our team is on the way. Taunt them back on in. Lord of the Afterlife's going to get you away, but not far away. Drunk Diplomat picks up the kill, and look at Eats in the sky. Hovering Death used just to get the heck out of there, but look at Dishonored trying to find a sneaky Tuba who's able to get back to base. The King's Court, once again, they find a pick, and the Djungelskogs on the back foot.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate too. Skogs really wanted to pick out that Athena. She's got so many kills at this point. Where they're sitting at like 8-0, 9-0. That would have been a crazy shutdown for whoever was able to get it. But now without that, we definitely have to seed away these towers and play for the next Fire Giant here. And I was gonna get to it before Little Chef got so rudely picked off there. But if you're Skogs, how are you playing into these fights now? The game plan is not as clear as it was before with our last team comp. But, you know, Osiris and Thanatos, I imagine, should be playing around each other, and Atlas can play up there with them. It's like a weird front to back, because I almost don't want to keep the Atlas next to my carries. I feel like he functions really well when he's able to play up there with the big boys, with that solo laner, with the jungler. And Agni has, or not Agni, but, you know, the Disco's range is a little stubbier, I believe, than other mages, right? Like her apple is able to go pretty far, but the Strife and the Chaotic Magic, like that's all pretty close range. It almost feels like Skogs needs to play a front to back that involves them being a little bit more scrunched than maybe you would typically envision. And then you're thinking about who are your targets, right? The Athena is full damage. So be not confused by seeing this, you know, quote unquote Guardian. Like, you can absolutely try to pick the Athena. She still doesn't have beads. She has the blink. We do have a Talisman of Purification there for Speak No Evil. So we have the ability to let the King's Court play into us a little bit when they go for a Blink CC, or they go for any kind of CC, pop the Talisman, counter engage, and go from there, right? So if that's the case, I'd like to see Eats kind of play an angle with the Thanatos and look for maybe something onto Dest or Drunk Diplomat. I mean, the Agni's going to be a little bit hard to jump on top of by virtue of that being Agni. They've got the dash, they got stuns. Hou-Yi just has a leap, but once that leap is down, boom.
Defender of Olympus has found Eats.
Stick to him.
There's a little bit of aggression there. I thought more was going to happen, but it's just an ultimate for ultimate trade, and I don't blame him, right? I mean, Defender of Olympus shot over to the solo lane, and Eats is like, I'm up in the sky, see you later.
I'm out of here. I'm not playing that game. I don't blame him either. Like, that's scary. Valo confirms the pyro. Oh, we found a puck.
We're juggling, speak no evil. He has a dash back on out of there, but the CC chain from the King's Court buries him in the ground. Dishonored picks up the kill, and now 5 members of the court, they move their way to the Fire Giant, and they're going to go ahead and start their burn, but this time the Skogs are aware of it and around.
But we don't have Thana ultimate, and we don't have a support, so taking this fight, I mean, King's Court are just going to turn and kill them.
Valo ate a World Eater straight to the throat and didn't take too much damage for it. Little Chef, though, can't say the same. Dest burns them down and alive, so Little Chef all the way down. Taunts good and it eats, and, well, Valo is divine for a reason. They're looking for Baronic, Defender of Olympus used to take him on down. Has the dash, but a 612 auto reach is going to be enough to make the back on way to base. The King's Court at the Fire Giant, and it's at half faith.
Yeah, when King's Court pick up that FG initially, it's 100% a bait to get Djungelskogs to force them into confronting the King's Court there. But we didn't have Thana ultimate. Speak No Evil was down, and without a Thana ultimate, it does feel like these fights get significantly harder for the Djungelskogs, because then how is our Thanatos engaging? We're going to blink in there and go for something, but, you know, if Eats is going to blink onto a backliner, he has to commit. He has to commit to that fight. If you don't get the kill, it's feast or famine, right? And there's a lot of famine going on right now for Djungelskogs. Nobody's been able to eat for a hot minute. The only person who really has kills is Eats. You know, Tuba's got a couple, Baronic's got one, but that's all there is to say. And how are we even going to get more at this point? Dishonored is not somebody you can really go on. It looks like Drunk Diplomat is going to have teammates next to him at all times. So it does make the structure of these team fights so awkward for Djungelskogs. Whereas King's Court, your fight plan's pretty simple. I'm gonna walk up there. My name's Dishonored. I've got 5 billion health. I'm a Hercules, and my team is gonna blink, taunt you, and make your life miserable. So, bomba.
Boomba indeed. Just a lot of CC. I mean, it feels like at the end of the day, you know, there's like graphs where it's like, it's in ELO, it's like, oh no, CC good, and then there's like the big mid graph where it's like CC bad, and then it comes all the way back down to CC good again, where it's just like, you draft CC, you're gonna run it on down and do a ton of damage. It's very scary to look it out through here, but the Skogs have to do something to hold on to the onslaught of the King's Court. 16-6 now. And, well, what was that, 12K gold lead in favor of the King's Court? Yeah, 12K. That is uh-oh territory if I've ever seen it. The King's Court, though, now starting their ascension onto the base, doing tons of damage. Bombs on the left-hand side, so that Chaos Phoenix falls on down. A Defender of Olympus finding Eats in the back line. Valo is here to take you out. Eats sent home packing. But what can you do to get out on the back end side of it? Has a dash, meets Little Chef on the back end side of it. Dishonored is trying to juggle the support. Valo is all but a bygone memory, and they are shut down in the backside. Drunk Diplomat, though, finds Speak No Evil, who's doing a ton of damage. Shell of Rebuke's going to keep us feeling healthy and alive. And finally, the ADC turns their targets to the mid Phoenix, which falls on down as well. 4 members strong. The King Court, though, still playing around with their food, and Little Chef might be the next entree up on the plate. Stun is good, but Baronic has a shutdown kill on to Hu Yi, doing their goodness to survive. Tuba doing a ton of damage with the autos as well. Dishonored has to leap back on out. The King's Court kind of limping away now, but they took down 2 Phoenixes.
I mean, this time around, Little Chef does have the spectral armor online and a team to play with. So 10 plating, 450 health, a little bit of fist prots, but minus 30% damage from critical strikes. And allies take a little bit less damage from critical strikes as well. So Drunk Diplomat, who is very heavily leaned into crit, is going to be wounded by the Spectral, where if you looked at Tuba versus Dishonored, if Tuba had a little bit more mana, and if they missed like maybe 2 less autos, Dishonored was going to be, found in the back of a milk carton there. It's a good defense from the King's Court. You lose 2 Phoenixes, but you could have lost the game. Again, though, I mean, this Athena ultimate is just so tricky to deal with. Because, again, there's another layer to everything. Wait. Boom.
Eats Valo. That's good. Hey, that's a pick. That's a good one. So, Athena off the map for another minute.
Good stuff. All right. Djungelskogs put themselves on the board a little bit here. What I was going to say is that the people that Athena are alting are not characters that can get away very quickly. Thanatos doesn't have a dash. You know, Discordia's got like a little baby dash. Maybe needs to be able to jump over a wall. That's about it. There's like a moment after Athena ults where there's like a post fire. She can't actually act right away. In that time, you could get out. You can, you know, do an ability that gets you away. Neith is the only character that could really do that. Everybody else kind of gets cooked by it. So that's, again, another reason why Valo is finding so much success with this Athena pick. Is because the people that are ulting don't have a great way to get away. That's a good Heart Pluck.
Gets picked on in, has the dash back on out, and Dishonor is going to eat a couple of Silver Branch Pox on his way back to the rest of his team. Djungelskogs, though, have a little bit of precedence now, but Valo's up on the map, and his ultimate is as well. Hungry for a target to land upon and do a touch of damage. But, hey, the King's Court now have reassessed pressure over the map. With no Fire Giant, I'm wondering what they're going to do.
Fire's not up. Ancient Gold Fury will be up. King's Court want to get their third Gold Fury pip. FG's up in like 20 seconds? Oh, it's up now.
Oh, it's up now. Wow.
Oh, yeah, well, shoutouts, you know, let's just do that.
Shoutouts.
So,
Okay, easy peasy.
not too shabby. We're just going to take this. I mean, look at the burn here, too. It's so good. Skogs are going to make a one last stand.
Third type of damage on the way. Little Chef trying to throw abilities over there, but Tempo secures it for his team, and now the King's Court are aggressing forward. No dagger needed because he's in the sky just trying to get away from Valor, that defender of Olympus. Shells of Vic is good, but we landed back on down. Dishonored does a ton of damage, and Valo is here to clean up. Has an Aegis as well to keep alive, and Dishonored is playing support duty. I got to see a Hercules support one way or the other because Dishonored is keeping his team alive. Dest finds a kill, and Little Chef has been served up on a platter. Double kill for Valo as the rest of the King's Court marched into the mid lane.
Man, Thanatos tried to go for the turn there, but the taunt from Athena was too much. King's Court have so much CC that they're able to leverage in these team fights. Ultimately, it'll be the Skogs' doom.
Valo, double reach proc
what
is
a
going to be
sight.
able to do it. That's a jungler 1v1. If you've ever seen it, the King's Court, they say, you know what? You can take game number 1. We'll own game number 2 and force this set to a 3-game set.
It's really good stuff from King's Court. They were actually able to execute their game plan, which was, hey, everybody, let's just chill out until we can actually hit our power spikes. Whereas Djungelskogs, even though they got that 1-2-3 combo, were not able to actually push it far enough. As opposed to game 1, I feel like a lot of that has to do with the team comp here, where we just weren't able to run it down hard enough. Honestly, everybody from TKC was looking fairly safe, and Valo was able to find crazy value off of this Athena aspect jungle. Like, oh my goodness. Just Valo constantly looking for ultimates, going in, finding a taunt. Nobody can get away from them. So Valo gets constant damage and constant pressure.
That's how you do it. Valo able to run the game, essentially. And Eats, unfortunately, you said it, despite their name, kind of fell into a bit of a famine and wasn't able to at least have as a highlight of a game as we would have liked. But hey, that's good news for us because that means more Smite here in the Athens divisions. This is a playoff. Game number 3 is coming right after the short break. Hello, one and all, and welcome back to the Olympus Smite League Athens division. We're in playoffs, game number 3. It's gone the full mile. My name's Moon Mellows. I'm joined here by Musey, and I'm ready to see who's going to come out on top.
I'm excited, right? Game 1, decidedly in the hands of Djungelskogs. Game 2, decidedly in the hands of the King's Court. So now we're in the situation where can Djungelskogs put together the magic that they had in the first game, or will King's Court ride this momentum from game 2, where they just get to kind of own up and walk away with that, 2-1 dub. Now, little bit of a treat for you guys. Apparently, that Ogni game, that was like the first time Dest ever played Ogni. Was it this? Like first time ever played Ogni in comp like ever. So thank you, Dest. That was a treat. Well done. I wouldn't have known, right? I would have assumed this is just something that you do. Now we get to go into game 3, vault bans. All those picks down there are off the board. Already some of these bans are freaky Billy because we're banning Zeus, right? You saw it too. Moon saw it. I
got whiplash. I went like, oh, this is normal, to like, Zeus, Loki? What's going on there? Take it off the board already. And it makes sense, right? You don't want Valo on something that's going to frag. I mean, the Athena was the game plan for the King's Court, and they ran it down pretty well. And I think the answer for King's Court is kind of putting pressure on Tuba. I mean, that guy was 11-0 in game number 1, and game number 2 he kind of got sat on, and the Djungelskogs got ran over.
Yeah, you could tell Tuba was a little frustrated after that game as well. Like, yo, do we actually want to play dual lane for real or no? But this time in game 3, Sobek was banned. Games 1 and 2 now first picked by Skog. So we give this to Speak No Evil. He's got a good Sobek in the bag. But again, there's another pick that Speak No is able to play where they can be very aggressive, Moon, right? They can be the gas pedal. They can be the fight starter. They can get a lot of damage in. This is how Snee likes to play.
It's perfect for him. Sobek, the pillar of aggression, but this terrifies me. Dishonored on a hypothetical Achilles and a dancer.
Finished.
This is gonna be fun.
That makes sense.
Okay.
That's more.
Okay.
Stop tricking us, drunk.
Don't do
Come
that.
on.
Stop it. Stop it.
Stop it.
Stop.
Don't surprise us.
Stop.
No.
Stop. I mean,
not
Dan's I mean, it would have been Aura, right? I would have been on board. I've been like, wow, Dan's a burrow. We're putting it all on the line here, right? It's on the table. But Jing Wei is a character that scales very well towards the late game, so it's a good pick here for King's Court because Jing Wei is going to hit level 20 and be very strong. And Achilles is another one of those picks that is able to just chill in lane, right? You give that to Dishonor, maybe he gets a couple of kills. He's Achilles, he's got the execute. If not, it's fine because he's just going to be super beefy, super tanky, and live forever.
This is a scary 1-2 answered from the Skogs here. Apollo and now a Awilix. Apollo definitely going to do what Tuba wants to do, and especially this Awilix into Jing Wei. I mean, and with a Sobek on your team as well, Eats might be eating good this game.
Yeah, I do like the Awilix pick here. The Spirit of Lem is with us today. Now, what Awilix does well, I think you already pointed it out, right? Jing Wei, whenever she tries to knock herself up, updraft into agility, then the Awilix pulls her back in. Sobek goes for the pluck. Then the Awilix pulls them back in. Awilix is able to set themselves up too. She throws out that Jaguar, hit somebody from the back, shoutouts, and pull them back in. Now, the question is, can you do that? I actually like the Nuwa here. Nuwa is one of those characters that can deal a ton of damage, but is also kind of safe in the sense that she throws away abilities at range, like that Bog. She throws out the clay minions. They've got a little bit of prot shred attached to them. And they also just run a lot of interference in a team fight, right? You can get body blocked by clay minions. You can get hit by clay minions. That's annoying. Now you can't use your blink. So Djungelskogs have got a lot to kind of work through.
Open the gates!
Emir also selected here for tempo this time. Maybe a comfort pick as we reach further into our god pools here, but I kind of like it, especially into a Sobek and now Hecate and a Hades hover and locked in for what I can only assume to be Little Chef.
I love Hades solo. I'm a big Hades solo guy. I think
yeah.
that pick is really strong in the right conditions, and the conditions are met here, right? Because you're picking Hades when the other team can't get out of your ult that well, or if their ability to get out of your ult hinges on something like a dash that your other teammates can shut down, right? The Oelix can shut down in a Jingwei dash, right? You just yoink them back in. So what this Hades can do is just go to the back line, pop an ultimate, keep everybody in place. Hecate can layer their ult on top of that. Oelix should be able to play off the side and be able to find a pick. Sobek is able to get damage there too. Apollo can pump damage in. But also, if the Hades just goes full damage, we can go into the Nuwa and just kill them. We can just kill the Nuwa. We can trade our lives 1-for-1, maybe even a 2-for-1 trade if we're able to catch the Jing as well. And it looks super good here because nobody can get away from this Hades ultimate. But it can get a little sketchy. Hades versus Achilles. Oh, it's Hades versus Amaterasu in lane. Yeah. I feel like Ama does okay into Hades here because the Hades will clear the wave and the Ama's just going to smack him the whole time. Or both of these solo laners will just kind of proxy their own waves and not interact with each other as much. I'm very interested to see how Dishonored plays into Little Chef here.
Amaterasu is such an odd pickup here. 10th overall as well. I mean, I know we're reaching deep into our god pools, but I just have not been seeing too much of Ama. Like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like she's just kind of fallen off to the wayside here recently.
Well, she has a few things that she does well. She's very comp dependent. I especially like her with characters like Jingwei and with Ymir, who, like Jingwei, obviously, you want to be able to give attack speed. If you're Amaterasu, you're probably building a Shogun somewhere in there. You've got a strength aura. This will help boost your Jingwei. You can go speed mode with your Ymir, cut off options with the wall, get the Ymir up there sooner rather than later so you can go for that Frostbath. Find a stun. She's got a good teamfight ultimate. She can give herself damage mitigations when she fires off the mirror. So this makes her pretty solid to box. She can soak up some extra damage from the Hades so long as she's able to get that mirror started before Hades finishes his damage combo. She can live a bit longer. Plus, she can get away from a Hades ultimate either with the dash or with the ultimate of her own dazzling offensive. Now, when it comes to engages, you can engage with an Amaterasu, but it's a little sketchy in my mind. I never want Amaterasu to be the first one in there. I'd like her to be that second wave. So we're looking at Ymir or maybe Achilles, depending on if Valo decides to go for a bit of a tankier build or if we opt for something else. I know he likes to do the squishier, Learning Bow, Frenzy Dagger, a la days of old. But King's Court composition, there's a sauce to be had here. There's some cookery.
There's a heat. Let's see if they'll be able to cook us up a good meal as we make our way into game number 3. My name is Moon Mellows. I'm joined here by Musi, and for one final time, Nova Shark is going to be our eyes in the sky for this playoffs game. Musi, what do you notice?
So already I'm seeing Valo opting for the blink again for this Achilles, whereas Eats has maybe recognized a bit of their hubris and goes for the beads. And I do like that considering the King's Court has a fair amount of CC on their team. Shield Bash from Achilles, the exploding minions from Nuwa, Frost Breath from Tempo. Even the silence from Dishonored can get kind of tricky because Amaterasu does have that silence on the dash. When it comes to this mid lane matchup between Dest and Baronic here, I feel like Hecate is one of those characters that kind of has a decent matchup into every mid laner because she's able to give herself a health shield. Her clear is fairly decent. She's got a great teamfight ultimate that makes it so that she can, offer quite a bit of pressure both in lane and in a fight. But Nuwa should be able to ult for ult with that open the gate, so she's not as stressed out about it. I think a lot of the action this game is going to come from our junglers or come from our dual lane, right?
Oh, a lot of aggression being seen done here for both of these. I mean, Ymir and Sobek, pretty iconic characters who just want to run at the other one, so it makes no surprise to me that these health bars are looking all the same. And I mean, I know builds is usually your thing, but I'm noticing this Bluestone, and I'm assuming it's going to be like the Chronos Soul Reaver thing. I thought we just introduced Echo, right? It feels like we're just kind of reverting back to what's comfortable.
Well, and a big part of the reason why we see Bluestone Soul Reaver is because tanks are so strong, right? That is just kind of the way that we're looking at things. If we want to talk builds for mages, I'm kind of interested in this Hades build. Little Chef has opted for the Bumba's Cudgel as opposed to a Conduit. So his clear is a little weakened, but still better than an Amaterasu's. But I wonder if this means that we see more of a tank Hades build, right? There are some options here. I still think Bancroft's talent first is just the way to go for Hades, but after that, you can do like a shifter shield. I know Daybreak Gavel's very strong for Hades right now. We've seen some YouTube videos with that. World Stone is, I would say, core for Hades at this point, because the way that you play this Hades solo is while you have your ultimate, you are one of the strongest characters in the lobby. Your ultimate's down, boom, you're useless. Gank here.
Luck good on the tempo, which means Eats is going to make the way on over. The cripple, the feather step means you're stuck, and the shell might not be enough to save your life, but it is not going to do it this time. Eats picks up first blood, and the Djungelskogs already off to a better start than game number 2.
You saw the Awilix was able to find the knock up there, but it hit the Jingwei, so she was able to use the agility to get out. Remember, she can do that off of any knock up, not just her own. So that did mean that we had to switch the targets, go stick to tempo. He was almost able to get out because we weren't able to body block the Ymir in, because you could walk through players when you have that shell popped, but ultimately was not enough. It's a good start here for Speak No Evil and Tuba, which is kind of what we wanted to see from Djungelskogs when we were talking about what went well last game and what needs to be a little bit better between games, 1 and 2. Easy beads burn there from Death, so keep an eye. If this Awilix is able to hit level 5 soon, I'd love to see the Nuwak get hit.
Oh, the gauge just a little bit short this time. Oh, she ulted. Well, Death is safe for now. But hey, looky there. The rocks go the way of the Djungelskog, so trying to get aggressive here as Eats just kind of moseys his way around the map, but Dishonored going for a blue buff invade meets a Pillar of Agony. Doesn't look all the worse the wear for it, but the rest of the Djungelskogs, they've kind of cogulated over here on the left-hand side of the map. Speak No Evil is the first one to step forward, and Dest has been found out. No ultimate, no life. Bye-bye, buddy. Blues picks up the kill, and now, but a good wall stuns in the rest of the people, but the Djungelskogs able to scatter away pretty effectively here at this point. Blues pretty speedy on an Awilix, who would have assumed, so the Skogs get out scot-free.
Man, and we do take that first, or we weren't able to take that first purple buff, but we're still able to, show some more face on that left side there, which is strong for Djungelskogs. Remember, this is just what we said they need to do to kind of win this early game and make sure that we can let this Apollo get out of lane and make some bigger plays. We do have that global ultimate with that chariot. And if it comes down to it, I suppose the plan from Djungelskogs is to you could always just split push, I suppose, right? Everyone's got a little bit of auto speed in them when it comes down to it. We've all got the potential.
Oh, you dashed straight into Tuba, who's in the chariot. Drunk Diplomat is in a precarious situation. The moves on in, forces out the beads. Drunk Diplomat, though, has a good knockup, so this Jingwei is safe for days. Tempo has a frost breath to make sure this Jingwei can limp on back to home. I mean, it looked great for the Skogs, but Drunk has the juke shoes.
Man, and that was such a good start of the fight from the Skogs there, because you bait out that dash so quickly. But unfortunately, Tuba was just a little bit off with the landing of their ultimate. This is a risky gold pull. I do not like this. Apollo has 0 mana. The Jingwei is already back because of her passive. And in fact, because we showed face here, I wonder if King's Court could go for a pull. It looks like they're going to be chill about the whole thing. Luckily, Tuba's found a blue buff, so we won't be entirely out of mana there. Ooh, it was sketchy. It was almost scary here. Taking a quick look at some of these builds here, Moon, I believe that's going to be a Breastplate of Valor to start things off for Little Chef. You see that Captain's Ring and the Mana Tome. So it is a bit of a tankier Hades, which means that we're not going to be blowing up the backline, but more playing to kind of hold people in place as opposed to, playing to kill a mid laner or an ADC. And that's fine. I feel like as long as you still go something like a World Stone, maybe a Ratatouille or a Daybreak Gavel, that'll give you the int you need to stay threatening. You just need to make sure that you are getting the most amount of value you can from your ultimate. That's really the big part of playing that Hades solo. So I'm looking forward to more cooldown from Little Chef. You could go Genjis, you could go World Stone, and that would round out your build pretty well. You've got the Bumba's Cudgel there too, so it's some flat cooldown resets as well.
A lot of pressure coming out from both these two teams' comps, but it just looks like that Tempo is going to be kind of a sit and duck for this point. But look at the Skogs. They made an early rotation over to this Gold Fury. The members are here, and Tempo has been plucked, pulled back in, and there is the target of your aggression on a killing spree now is Eats. And the Skogs, once again, turn their sights to this Gold Fury, but look at Valo. He's sneaking around, and I mean, Tempo isn't here, but he still left his aura around. So the rest of the Skogs have to scatter, and this Gold Fury stays up.
Yeah, you have to be so careful with Valo's positioning here. He does have the blink shield bash combination that could happen. Maybe we settle for another pick here, but agility from the Jingwei eternally keeps her safe and ready to go there. Looks like Valo opted to start with the Avenging Blade for this Achilles build. So 60 strength, 200 health. Not too shabby at all. I mean, the stats alone feel very, very good. Plus, you got some prot shred that he will more than likely get because he's chilling in that jungle as well, so he's able to stack it twice as much. So that's where this Achilles really gets to have the extra oomph. Whereas Eats opts for a Hydra's Lament, which does make sense for the Wheelix. She's able to weave in quite a few autos into all of her shenanigans. King's Court walk away with the ritual, but nope, agility relic away. Shoutouts.
We're gonna keep seeing that. I feel like Snee just wants to be annoying and be like, "No, your agility relic is, or your agility is mine for this entire game." Basically, the Djungelskogs just want to keep putting the aggression on there. And look at the rocks once again going towards Dishonored's way. So we're just putting up so much pressure around this map and around the solo lane. The King's Court just kind of letting it happen to him for now.
Yeah, and you know, while King's Court is kind of suffering a little bit on the left side because of all the pressure that Skogs is putting there. When it comes to that solo lane, both Amaterasu and Hades clear lane pretty quickly, but it looks like the Ama's able to clear it faster because she does have that shifter. She'll have a bit more strength to be able to clear away those camps, whereas the breastplate start from the Hades, plus that Bombas means that Hades clear is not going to be as effective, so that gives prio to Amaterasu, so that's why she's going to be just a little bit ahead. Not a full level up, but I'd say maybe 3/4 or so at this point, as the agility is down from Jingwei.
Eats is on the rotation well. The tail whip straight into Eats' hands. Tempo is all but gone now. But Speak No Evil falls down as well. It's a support for support trade. Airstrike was used to try and secure that one here. But Tuba, Valo, both of them are staring at each other, begging the other one to take a step forward out of position. But nope, they're not going to do it. They're going to play safe. It's a 1-for-1 trade, and both of our supports are now respawned at this point. So pretty much at an even standstill still.
Yeah, unless you can find the Jingwei here double dipping.
Oh, beads have been used early, and Jingwei able to use that agility back, but Tuba able to walk her down and Eats on a rampage already. 5-0. Is this a Wheelix? And Tuba hops inside the Uber. Valo is here, but we're already landing back down, shut down onto the Wheelix. The Fatal Strike used to get on out, but the Mesmerize, you got to be careful because we have a ton of lockdown. The Djungelskogs pick up the jungler.
Man, something I really liked from the Wheelix gank there is the fact that Eats did not pounce with the Suku there. When you dismount off of Suku, it doesn't consume the cooldown. So we dismount off Suku to go for damage on the Jingwei. So Drunk has to, you know, kind of knock back the Wheelish. And then Eats is able to get back on top of Suku to go for the chase. He didn't use the backflip either. He held on to that cooldown because he knew he would need it for the kills. That's why Drunk Diplomat was not able to sneak away. And I do like the fact that Tuba goes back in afterwards, because you know that Snee is right around the corner, so that keeps Valo in check, even though you just lost Eats. So overall, it's a good start here for Eats, who's 5-1 at this point, and you have double lifesteal build here. I have to remember, is that Reaper or is that Barb Carp? I feel like that's Reaper that he's like itemizing towards. There's another good item here for a Wheelix because it just offers so much strength and lifesteal.
Is forced onto Tuba. Good wall as well, but Speak No Evil is here once again to just be chaotic. This duo lane has a ton of pressure throughout them, but able to peel themselves away for now. And I mean, we're just going to keep seeing it because Snee has to be pushed away by a wall. He's like, leave us alone, please.
King's Court has vision over gold. That's why they're pulling Pyro. Djungelskogs hasn't quite figured out what they want to do yet. Pyro just gets finished. It looks like Skogs aren't able to find too much off of it. Kind of feels like a little bit of a map failure. We'll settle for a purple buff invade. So, and this is the King's Court playstyle, where we just kind of play to chill to get to this late game. We are coming to them.
Here, but
Whoa,
a
triple
three-man
freeze.
wall got locked on in. Tumba in trouble, has the jump on out of there, so we're good for now. And lurking in the waters is Speak No Evil to slay the aggression of the King's Court. Airstrike on in, forces Tuba up into the chariot, but we've turned back around. Eats has hopped inside, and we are about to land back down like a vulture in the sky. Elects for safety this time, and I don't blame him. I got scared for a moment, but hey, we love the aggression this time, but elect to stay safe and back on up. Little Chef made the rotation on over, but not too much is going to happen out of this one. But look at the re-engage. Eats stepping back on forward, and Speak No Evil is low, but pouncing on in. The beads ain't going to save you from the damage. Eats picks up the kill, and Drunk Diplomat falls once again.
These kills are all very important for Djungelskogs. They want to get themselves as big as possible. That Moonlight Queen Naga's right around the corner. And this Jingwei needs to be kept in check. I feel like Jingwei is one of the best ADC scalers that we have in Smite right now, just because the longer the game goes, she's able to stack up that Devos and get to a point where she can just two-shot a Squishy. She can win pretty much every 1v1 that she wants if it's against another ADC. Little Chef loses their tower for that rotation, though, which is fine. You know, you got your breastplate, you've got your Genjis. I see that Oracle staff, so Worldstone should be around the corner. We haven't had a chance to see the Hades in any of these team fights. It's been a very quiet solo lane from Chef and Dishonored this go around. So I'd love to see Hades out of this lane, right? I want to see Chef get out there and really start forcing some options, because Eats is already sneaking a lot of kills in here. And Jingwei doesn't have the beads available for another, you know, little more than a minute or so. So I feel like if you can get her ult, this means that Awilix can absolutely just kill her. Oh, and her ult's down. She's forced to back. This is such a good fight for the Skogs.
Drunk Diplomat all the way back to base, and Dishonored sitting in the right lane, getting a tier 2 tower. This Gold Fury has been promised to them, and they'll go ahead and take it on the chin now. 7-2, 14 minutes into this game, and the gold lead, though, still pretty even, surprisingly. Now only 15 gold disparaging these two teams. So despite the gold lead, the King's Court have been holding on pretty strongly. But Eats has made the rotation on over here to Dishonored, forced out though. But he's an Amaterasu, he's speedy, he's fine.
Oh, look at the rest of King's Court, though, looking to see if they can catch. Oh!
The knock-up. Tempo in trouble here. Puts up a wall, but Eats can just jump right over it. Beads forced, and Moronic picks up a kill. This Awilix character is something else. Lem certainly is onto something, but Valo trying to get something out of nothing. Forces out the Pillar of Agony onto Little Chef. He has a dash away, but the rest of the team is on the way. But Moronic is picking up a double kill in the mid lane. Sure, kill our Hades. We don't care. The Djungelskogs are running it down, and now they turn their sights to the Pyromancer.
Valo still has the blink here, but Ultimate as well. How do you get in? I really don't think you do. You go for a cheeky steal.
Oh,
he stole
and he
it!
gets it.
Okay.
That's Valo. The Valo diff. And now the King's Court are ahead. Sure, go ahead. Kill a team. We'll take the objective. That's just a steal
crazy.
from the seasoned king.
That's nuts. Like, by all rights, that should have gone so well for Djungelskogs. They had a number advantage, they had everything there, but King's Court get the Pyro. Oh, you think Val will do it again on this Moonlight Queen Naga? Skogs are late to it, and this is such a tough swing for the Skogs. They needed this.
Can they steal it away? Nope, you can't, because the Shards of Ice is better for it. The King's Court pick up the Queen Naga, and if you're not careful, Speak No Evil might have felt as well, but they elect to let this, the Nature Preservation Act, let the crocodile live, send him back home.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you take a look at the slash lines here in the gold. Djungelskogs have a lot of kills. Who has been dying on the King's Court? It's just been Tempo. Like, it's just been Tempo. Maybe Dest a couple times, Diplomat a couple of times, but 4 times it's been the support. And that has not translated to much for this Awilix, who is tied at this point with Valo. King's Court plays such a patient game. They're so patient. They're not worried about anything at all. They are chillin'. Djungelskogs' game plan relies on getting that swing from, you know, Pyro plus the Moonlight Queen Naga into the mid pad. Like, yeah, we were able to get gold, but we fumbled Pyro, and then because of that, we fumbled Naga. Now this looks like a win con fill for King's Court. Like, as long as they're able to chill and farm till late, the game gets harder and harder for the Skogs.
Up open here, Tempo gets plucked back on in, but Valo's the true target on the left-hand side of it. Dest in the sky, putting the shards of ice, doing some damage, but look who is in the sky! It's Tuba landing on down. Tempo falls, and Little Chef is here with a pillar of agony. Dest gonna get clipped by that through the gates. Has the beats, though, to make sure we are not pulled back. So the Djungelskogs still doing a play, but we took the portal and went back in. Baronic takes down Dest on a killing spree, and the Skogs are going up big.
Man, Speak No Evil has no fear, not even in a singular bone in their body. Took that portal to go for the pluck afterwards. The whole time, King's Court are playing the map, right? We're splitting for towers. So Drunk Diplomat's looking for an extra bit of gold. Dishonest's looking for an extra bit of gold. And Djungelskogs are able to win that fight in mid. But again, the gold is just still in the favor of the King's Court, so they're okay with taking these tactical losses, I guess you could think about it, because even though the slash lines look pretty tough, they don't really care. They're still scaling towards the late game. Drunk Diplomat does have their Devos stacked up. Now we're just taking victory laps. And with the Musashis plus Frenzy Dagger, we got some extra crit and some movement speed to be able to chase after people. So it's scary. In fact, King's Court are going for a Fire Giant pull.
They're already there and ready. Little Chef already aware, but what can you do against the King's Court? It's brought down to 2k HP, but can you out-secure them? Baronic can, able to steal it away for the Djungelskogs. Little Chef, though, might be the sacrifice they pay for it. Valo able to take him up this time. Hey, if you steal our objectives, we'll try and steal yours away too. And this Obexima cute, he's already dead and buried. Blues in the back line. Baronic picks up Drunk as well, and the King's Court tried to go for a sneaky play, but they're crumbling to the waters.
Whoa, that just completely fell apart for the King's Court. Little Chef is able to go in there, pops that Pillar of Agony, forces everybody to look at him. That gives Baronic the space to go. He stole that with the little shield, I think, just popping it on top of Hades, who was right there. Oh my gosh. And then, of course, Eats finds a nasty angle towards the back line because Speak No was able to find the execute on top of Valo. Now, Djungelskogs, you want to talk about a team that loves a swingy play. FG straight into the left side bird because Tuba was like, oh, they're doing fire? I guess I'll just push, guys. I wasn't really ready to do all of that. His team says, hey, man, don't worry about it. And Tuba's like, well, hey, I exposed this bird. You guys want a free bird, chicken for lunch? Anybody? Just me? Let's have this. This will be the second Gold Fury pit for the Djungelskogs. So now their minions will be a little bit stronger than when they walk next to them. And finally, they get to establish a bit of a gold lead here. King's Court did not get to... You can't even really fault... Well, you can absolutely fault King's Court a little bit for how that team fight went, but I don't think they were expecting to have the Fire Giant be such a burger flip.
I mean, it looked good, right? The King's Court was like, let's be sneaky. And then there was a little wrench in their plans, and that wrench went by the name of Little Chef 07. Now, a almost 6k gold lead for the Djungelskogs, 15-4. And a gravity surge as well. Valo has to use the Fatal Strike to get back on out. Has a wall, but it's not going to stop a blink, because Snee is like, I want to get after you. Valo has a blink of their own, but Tuba to the skies has a target in his sights, and a Little Chef inside the passenger seat. The Pillar of Agony is going to be good, and we chased him all the way from the fountain. Valo falls down to Little Chef 07. Say his name, because he is going to be running it down. Dishonored falls on down to a double kill, and now the Djungelskogs, as 5 members, look at the tier 2 tower in the mid lane. The Phoenix is going to be next.
Thought for a moment maybe they'd skip the tower entirely and try to go straight for the Titan room, but 2 dead is not enough to make a play as gutsy as that. Tier 2 tower will fall. We don't have bombs, but we do still have the dagger in the hands of Eats. King's Court, I believe they might have to give this bird.
To be careful, Tempo tries to put up a wall and freezes out Speak No Evil, who stood up trying to discourage them from stepping forward, which he did. The mid bird falls, and the Djungelskogs back on home to the safety of the rest of the jungle.
Man, talk about a heads-up play from Eats to start all of that, to go for the pluck there off of their ultimate. And then Valo uses every trick in the book to get away. Tempo offers as much as they can too. And it forces so much because Baronic was willing to commit so much to try to get that. Even the Cersei Sack Stone was used by Tempo to try to scatter to the wind. And then coming up behind, playing Oh my gosh, what that song
Flight
that
of the
they play
Valkyries.
when you're in
Ba, ba,
the...
ba, 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 ba. That one?
Fortunate Son is what I was thinking of.
Oh. different,
It ain't me.
different ways. There are
Apollo
two
comes
wolves.
up. Yeah, two wolves inside you. One of them survived the war. Little Chef. His ultimate is not doing a lot of damage, Moon, but it is locking down so many people because, like we mentioned in picks and bans, who is getting out of this Hades ult? Literally just Amaterasu and Jingwei. Not the Achilles. He already used ultimate. Not the Ymir, not the Nua. So that opens up the play there for Little Chef to just hold somebody in place so that Tuba can hold left click really hard and really fast.
Rest of the King's Court on the left-hand side of the map. That means Valo has been caught out by... Fatal strike to get out, but he has a shell on the backhand side of it, trying to stay alive as this time. But look at Little Chef being a disruption to the best that he can. Dazzling offensive is good, but Little Chef is just forcing out airstrikes, shards of ice, finds Dishonor to the mid lane on a killing spree for the second time this game, and might as well make it a little bit more tempo. Listen, it's just a matter of time. Little Chef's gonna chase you down and take you out. The Djungelskogs fine too, and the base, it's with it already being weakened, the King's Court are in a pretty hairy spot.
Oh man, Fire Giant's up in 2 seconds, so Skogs get to take this and run. There will be nobody to try to contest this. And you know what? We talked about how Hades maybe isn't building a lot of damage, still able to deal quite a bit of damage because their cooldown is just so low. You see, even the Ymir was able to catch quite a few hands from Little Chef there. I love Hades solo, dude. It is one of my favorite picks of all time, so big shout out to Little Chef for putting it on display here. Skogs will be able to pick up a Fire Giant. They could have waited a little bit for EFG, but that's all right. That's all right. We don't wait here. We're all about keeping the pressure on. You know who else is dealing quite a bit of damage? Baronic. Look at this. Bluestone, Chronos Pendant, Soul Reaver, got the E-Staff 2, and an Ob Shard. So we are just chunking tanks. We are doing so much damage. You know who this hurts the most, I feel? Valo, who has this bruiser build where you've got some damage here because of the Avenging Blade, the Shifter Shield, your Dominance, your Dagger of Frenzy, but it just means that the Kate specifically gets to chew you up and spit you out. You have enough health here that Soldier does a bunch of damage, but you don't have enough protections to kind of save yourself from all of the penetration that Djungelskogs have, especially in the hands of Baronic here. So Valo is just having a very tough time on this Achilles to live. I mean, yeah, they can do a lot of damage, but man, feels like everybody was built in a lab to take them out back and have them shot. You know, it's just not there. Little Chef is fighting somebody in the solo lane, shout outs, but it's all a distraction because Djungelskogs are looking to possibly end here. I mean, they just got the Ancient Gold Fury. That's 3 pips. They've got fire.
They're in a certainly good spot to do it this time. Speak No Evil stepping forward already, but Tempo has the Ice Wall to at least slow things down for a minute. Patience is the name of the game for this King's Court team, so let's see how patient, see if they can wait out at least the onslaught of the Skogs, but they move pretty fast around here. That duo Phoenix has already fell on down, and now they turn their sights over to the mid.
So, Dishonor was able to back. Chef's going to bring a minion wave up to that right side, I believe, or maybe go for a flank here. Look at Valo.
Valo has been spotted on out by Little Chef. He has got a couple dashes to get out for this time, though, and Speak No Evil got taken down quite low, forced to lurk in the waters just to retreat back to safety. The King's Court doing a decent job of pushing away the Djungelskogs, but still, they have that Fire Giant buff for another 110 seconds. Feels like we're just waiting for the particular moment to go on in, and it looks like Mid Phoenix is slowly going to fall on down, taking a ton of damage, and the King's Court don't know how to split up against it.
Oh, the Chef trying to find something here. It looks a little sketchy. I mean, yeah, we do have FG, but this siege is looking kind of tough for Djungelskogs. In fact, it's looking kind of bad.
Speak No Evil tries to get a pluck on in, but it's speed's on out, and when a Sobek plucks, he gets taken a lot of damage, but Open the Gates gets him out of there! Fatal Strike off the mark, and Little Chef trying to keep him alive. Dishonored with a Dazzling Gleam is able to stun 3, and the King's Court find the first kill of this one, but look who's here! It's Little Chef cooking up a storm for the rest of the team. Tuba on a killing spree takes down 1, but Drunk Diplomat has a shutdown as well. But with the rest of the Djungelskogs upon you, you're gonna fall on down eventually. 3 members of the Skogs standing strong with a Fire Giant for another minute. Step into the base. Valo, what do you got to try and defend? Is the stun gonna be good? The fear from Little Chef is even better, but the damage is looking pretty good on the back end side of it. Dishonored doing the best that he can to try and dissuade it, but Valo is taking way too much damage. Boronic puts him into the grave. The Titan already down to about half K HP, but it doesn't matter because Pillar of Agony is gonna be good. It does so much damage. He has a World Stone. Of course it's up. And of course Boronic is the one to slay the Titan. The Djungelskogs pull up the set and win this set of the playoffs.
Oh my goodness. I mean, Skogs looks so good there. I mean, even King's Court, I think, was still looking really good. It just came down to that one Fire Giant play, where TKC tries to pull fire and Skogs steal it away. The burger flip of a lifetime. And that is the swing that they use, because off of that FG, they get that left side bird and they go do gold. They won the fight too after the FG. It wasn't like just FG and a bird. It was FG, 4 kills, a bird, a gold. Boom. Right? Once Hades was able to join these team fights, things are looking even better for the Skogs. Wheelix was on fire this game. I mean, Eats was just constantly eating. I mean, this guy was nom, 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 nom. You know what I mean? Like, it was crazy. And Speak No was able to play a god that lets him int. So, like, shout outs.
Hey, listen, Eats, like, skipped a meal last game so he could get double portions this game. I mean, he was just around the map constantly. It was just, like, it's the Elo slingshot theory, right? You throw a game so, like, you could just go crazy in the next one. It works out great for him here.
Yeah, honestly, he just, like, kept finding so many solid kills, especially in the dual lane. I feel like that was a big part of the success here for the Skogs, is that Tuba was able to actually farm. They were able to actually play their game. You keep Drunk Diplomat in check because the Oelix was constantly heat checking over there, and Valo wasn't able to control or dictate the pace of fights because they weren't playing the global presence Athena pick. They were playing an Achilles, something that Valo is, you know, good at, known for. He's able to execute on that, but just wasn't able to keep up with the mobility factor of an Wheelix. If you hop on Suku, you are faster, you can out-rotate every other jungle in the game. So Djungelskogs were always there first. Off of that, Boronic as well. I feel like I did not give enough flowers to Boronic, who was able to keep their head above the water. Even in that game 2 was still looking really strong for the Skogs. I mean, this guy was able to just do exactly what you want from your mid laner. Farm, hit tanks, kill people, ult before you die. Boom. Right? That's all I need from you. You're a little kiss on your head. You're a little angel. You're perfect. So really good stuff from Djungelskogs all around. A very, very powerful team that I think is definitely worth keeping your eyes on through this playoff.
They won convincingly at that. The Djungelskogs go up 2-1, and the King's Court unfortunately fall on down. But that's all we got here for you at OSL Athens Division. My name's been Moon Mellows. I've been joined here by Musey, and a big thank you to Nova Shark to keeping the lights on and making everything run smoothly. And of course, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for joining us for some great Smite action. But that's all we got. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!
I've been underestimated, but I survived and became strong.